Just waiting for it to catch up. I hate the delay. I hate the delay on these, but hey, welcome to the show before the show. I'm your host, Patrick Marlett, your local game guy, and today I'm joined by Will, of course. Hey, Will.
Up.
All right, Will, tell me about your growth in sorcery. Where are you as a sorcerer these days? What level?
Uh, I'm a level 12 wizard.
Okay. How does it feel?
So I'm still getting used to the game, but it is interesting. After our first actual playthrough, I feel like I understand things a little bit better.
Yeah.
Still hate a ton of the wordings and rulings on a lot of these things, but the game's new, so there's not a lot to be said about that.
Yeah, hopefully they'll work out those kinks. But I'm glad to hear all of that. Honestly, I'm such a huge fan of this game. I've really been enjoying my time with it, and I hope you enjoy these live stream deck techs. Obviously, as more of you join and feel comfortable, feel free to communicate with us in the chat. The very obvious function of doing this live as opposed to pre-recorded is so that we could build these decks together, right? So if you've been playing pre-alpha, during alpha, or just started with beta, feel free to lend your voice and your thoughts to the deck construction. Both Will and myself are coming at this from the perspective of Magic the Gathering players, so our general knowledge there is actually very applicable here. Everything from a lot of the card effects to down to the artist are similar in Sorcery, but if you haven't played this game yet, it's like Magic, but with motion. So what's cool about these specific deck techs, though, as opposed to what we're able to do when we build commander decks, is that instead of gold fishing, we're going to be able to actually play out the deck with you guys over on Tabletop Simulator. So if you didn't watch our last one on Geomancer, you should. The deck is actually really good. I think we like solved it with that first crack. However, the Tabletop Simulator kind of messed up the stream quality. Now look, so far as I can tell, it's looking really sharp. If at any point it starts to judder or drop frames, forgive me. I tried my best on the back end to make sure that Tabletop Simulator, which I'll show you guys now, is not going to hamper our game experience. So I will leave our images up just so that you can see our general reactions. The only thing that this is going to exclude from the game board is my spell book, which is just under my face, and my graveyard. But we're going to go ahead and make the deck and obviously playtest it over here on TTS. But let me know if any of these actions are causing a delay, if
Yeah,
I'm starting to drop frames. Yeah, feel
I'm
free to
gonna
go for
shake
a
a
roll.
dice just to see if it's jittery on stream.
Yeah, so far as I can tell, it looks really good. And YouTube is saying that everything's fine. So, but again, this is over on Tabletop Simulator. It's I don't know if it's accessible outside of Steam, but I have a copy over on Steam, and you can actually get this client for free. Tabletop Simulator, no, I think it's like $20. But once you do, you can download the Sorcery application for it, and it's a great way to break in new decks, playtest things before you buy them, all of that. And actually, there's league play that is held on Sorcery as well. So if you want to see league play coverage, I might be participating in one in the not too distant future. Let me know in the comments. But with all of that aside, and again, please let us know if any of this is laggy or not working appropriately, and we'll of course try to fix the stream so we don't have a Geomancer issue again. But on that note, guys, please feel free to leave this video with a like. It goes a whole heck of a long way here into boosting discoverability of these videos, so please leave this with a like if you enjoyed the content. And on that note, I think we could probably start talking about Enchantress. So in the description, you'll notice there isn't a deck list set up yet, but as per my normal naming convention, I'm gonna go with a Dr. Jiggles build. It's just my player name for every TCG. But give me, all right, give me your favorite sport, Will.
I was gonna say, based off of what you said earlier, I think that we have to name the deck Dr. Jiggles Magic Motion.
Magic what?
Magic Motion. Sorcery, it's
Oh,
magic, but with motion. It's magic with motion.
magical motion or magic motion?
Magic Motion. That sounds like a dance move. That would have been perfect for the Geomancer, actually.
Oh, well, it's not too late. So here's the thing. while we set up this deck, I'm going to, of course, leave a link to this deck in the description so you guys can follow along and obviously check it out post video while this becomes a VOD. Um, there are 4 elements in this game, and every single avatar can be taken in a variety of different routes depending on what elements you place in the deck. So just because we've done one Geomancer doesn't mean we won't tackle another one in the future. But I'm not even sure which route we want to go here. I think the first thing we'll want to do when we look at Enchantress is just look at the auras. Am I mistaken?
No, I'd go with the auras first for Enchantress. It makes the most sense.
And why does it make the most sense? Well, every avatar in this game, it's like your commander in Magic. It's always going to start in play, and it dictates like how you construct your deck. But pretty much every avatar has 20 life. The base power of most avatars is 1. Same with Enchantress. You can tap to play or draw a site, and moreover, whenever you cast a spell, you may animate target aura until your next turn. It's an aura minion with power equal to its cost. Now, the only detriment here is that auras once played that become minions are in fact summoning sick. But also, it's a minion until your next turn. So this does make it susceptible to removal, but I think in a lot of cases that trade-off is okay. Because it's also just meaning that you could potentially draw out removal from your opponent so that your next animated aura has a higher likelihood of sticking, right? There's obviously a lot of perks to this effect, and its value changes depending on the types of auras you're running. I have to say, I sent you a card, Will. I think it was like I'm going to say Vesuvian Shapeshifter. It's a self-same simulacrum. So self-same simulacrum in this deck I think is such a cool card. So I kind of want to consider auras within this color.
Just water auras, I believe, because I think the shapeshifter was a water. Or sorry, self same simulacrum.
Yeah, so it is. And so the issue with water right now is it's not it's not great. I don't want to say that. I don't know. Everyone I've played against in a constructed setting has avoided water. The builds that we're actually going to do with On the Play next week, I told them, like, I really want to do Wave Shaper. I want to make water a thing. I think we can make water a thing. But outside of like a mono water deck that is purely playing for those effects, it's kind of difficult to rope in water into other lists, and you'll see why in a second when we explore the auras. But what's cool about Self-Same Simulacrum is that it may be summoned as a basic copy of a nearby minion. Ignore the text basic copy. I don't know why they say that. It essentially comes in as a copy of another minion that's on the battlefield, nearby minions specifically. So if you were to animate, I think, let me see how this works, because there's a layer system here that's not really addressed in any rule book, but I believe when you put this on the stack, your effect will occur. How does she read? We need to look at the timing of this, because I think Self-Same Simulacrum couldn't animate an aura and come in as that aura. I think you need to cast something else, have that thing animate as aura, and then have Self-Same Simulacrum come in. I believe that's how it works so far as priority order on the stack is concerned with these effects. And again, I'm using terminology that is not used within Sorcery here. But if it summons as a basic copy of the card, it will get all the text within that aura's text box. So if we have something that, like, at the end of your turn, deal 3 damage to a random target, she'll be spiking things, bolting things every single turn, and potentially herself, right? But she'll be a walking aura with permanence, and I think that's kind of cool. I don't know if it's the best synergy in the world, but we'll sort of make that out as we go along here. Would it help if I realize I'm not screen sharing this with you, but that would probably drive my computer to ruin. Are you
Well, I
following?
can see it on the stream,
Okay.
so I'm roughly following on it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and just look at this one more time. Whenever you cast a spell, I would assume that the spell needs to have resolved, so Self-Same Simulacrum is not going to work on the stack in the way we would want it to. Like, in a Magic setting, I would think you put Self-Same Simulacrum on the stack, Enchantress trigger. But cast a spell would suggest that it's resolved. So I'm just gonna say that if we want to use self same simulacrum, something else needs to have gone off first, which isn't difficult to do late game. In self same simulacrum is a late game card. Okay, so here's how I like to deck build on Curiosa. In case you're wondering where we are, Curiosa.io is the spot for deck building. It is the official Sorcery deck building website. It's really good. Moreover, if you go to these cards like I just did, you can go to a FAQ page that generally covers any issues with confusion you might have with the cards. But let's look up auras. And we only have 19 auras to go through?
Yeah, there are not a lot.
Okay. That's crazy. All right, so we've got abundance. For 5 in the 2 blue triangles means the affinity you need on your sites. I'm taking this from the perspective that you guys might not know what sorcery is because it's still relatively new. So I'm going to over-explain some things. Each affected site provides 1 additional mana. Huh.
Double your lands. Let's go.
Yeah. So auras are placed on the, if you saw the grid for the, tabletop simulator just a second ago, auras are placed at the intersections of those grids, right? So this will actually cross the threshold of 2 to 3 to 4 potential sites, and ideally all your sites. I don't know if we need that much ramp. Also, it's very late to the table, right? So if you were to cast this, I guess it would pay for itself. Let's see if the FAQ says, like, does it generate the mana? When do I get this extra mana? Mana is added to the player's pool at the start phase, right? But I'm wondering, it says provides 1 additional mana. Yeah, I did think you would definitely have to wait. So any set already in play won't get the extra mana. Okay. Huh.
I do believe if you play a site adjacent to it afterwards, that site enters and gives you 2.
Yeah, it would. It would. So it could help pay for itself a little bit. So if you go 5 deep into abundance and play a site into its area of effect, you could generate 2. That's not so bad. So it's virtual 3 cost. I don't know, man. Is this too cute?
I like it to some extent because it's a virtual 3 cost that gives you like up to 4 next turn, so it pays for itself very quickly. If we want to go for like a mid-range to late game deck, that might be good, just because it does it does give us that extra boost that we might need to just draw spells instead of playing lands so that we can have more things to animate our
Mm.
enchantments.
But
So
but you
maybe.
also because it's virtual 3, the other important thing to note here is that when you animate the aura, its power is equivalent to its cost. So it is a 5 beater. That's really solid. That is we've established, that's 1/4 of your starting life total. So okay, let's I'm gonna put 1 in the deck and then we'll see if we go the water route at all. But that's kind of gross. Obviously, it's the same issue with every game. You can have all the mana in the world, or if you watched our FNM stream last night, my angsty rival, he was able to generate a ton of mana, but that doesn't mean you always have something to do with it. So if we do generate a lot of mana and don't necessarily have a card advantage, which, outside of our 1 draw per turn, we might not have, we might look into things that are mana sinks in the deck. So things that could, ingest mana to get some effect. At any rate, Atlantean Fate. Affected non-ordinary sites are flooded. They are water sites, only provide water threshold, and lose all other abilities. This is gross. Genesis, submerge all minions and artifacts atop affected sites. I honestly think that this is a bomb. Because if we animate this and move it more into their zone, and they can't handle a 5-drop, and mind you, the typical removal suite, there's a couple cards, right? So there's some damaging effects in red, there's some damaging effects in air, but the general way to remove a big threat is bury or earthquake in earth. But bury and earthquake will only bury things on land sites. These are water sites. You can only submerge me, and submerging me doesn't kill me. This is I feel like this is a prime target for the deck.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
it's this was part of the reason why I wanted to go into water for the deck, just because it's a 5 mana bomb. We already have another 5 mana bomb if we want to go for multiple copies of Abundance, and water has like another 4 and a 3, so we have options.
yo, that's pretty sick though. Cuz this is going to be so hard to deal with. I'm trying to think of like you would need to chain up a couple of attacks to kill it genuinely. And only if I animate it. Hell, I could just leave it. I could genuinely just leave it. And the thing is, generally speaking, your dispel affects the things that are going to remove this dispel. I think it's artifacts and auras. We can look at it later. Those aren't typically mainlined because auras and equipment like Voltron strategies are not as frequently seen. So you don't typically pack that type of removal in your main deck. You'll sideboard it, add it in if you're playing best of three. So I feel like you'll just get away with this. And if they only sideboard one in, it's 1 out of 40 cards, so good luck. Blizzard. Affected sites and units atop them can't be attacked or intercepted. At the start of your turn, dispel Blizzard. It is dispel. Okay. Eh, eh.
Barely an aura, not
Yeah,
really an aura.
it's cool. Affected sites and units atop them can't be attacked or intercepted. It's a get out of jail. You're not going to. This could be the spell you cast to trigger animating something else. Well, look, this is really good. Imagine that you play this on your early sites, and this covers every single early site. They have to come after your avatar instead. So they're overcommitting to get attacks on you. The only issue is it gets dispelled. It's really cool. If it's stuck, obviously this is
Insane.
outrageous. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a good like get out of jail kind of card. Crusade. You may so there's two effects that are very similar to one another. There's Crusade and there's Jihad. Again, magic all up on its sleeve. It's interesting though because I don't think you can buy these cards on TCG Player, much to the same issue with the cards that were banned from MTG. So these actually run a high price in the gray market. But Jihad and this card are actually really good, especially Jihad in my opinion. But you may summon Earth minions to affected sites, so put this into your opponent's area. Allied Earth minions occupying those sites get +1 power. They're just annoying to deal with. It's fine. I don't know how many minions we're actually gonna run Earthwise. I don't know. It's very deck dependent, so it's hard to say. Drought affected sites aren't water sites and provide no water threshold. Probably the least useful card in the game right now because no one's really running water as a strategy. All right, Will, this one's really sick. This is a card I like a lot. Mariner's Curse. Whenever a minion enters affected water site, submerge it and return Mariner's Curse to its owner's hand. So, there are plenty of effects that pull things forward or towards you, and you can Mariner's Curse those things. That's just this is just constant removal unless they remove this. But the thing they're going to struggle with is that it's going to bounce to my hand every single time. I can also
Which,
just submerge my own things. Sorry.
yeah, it's also useful because this would be a spell that we can keep recasting for Enchantress to be able to keep animating our other
True,
things.
true, true.
So it's useful.
I like it a lot. I think as removal for I could almost see us doing solely water enchantress. We'll see. We'll see. Obviously, we want to hit our aura threshold. I don't know how many auras necessarily need to make the cut for this to be a viable strategy, but I like Mariner's Curse a lot. There's Jihad as well. We're going to skip it for now. It's not necessary. Flood. Affected sites are flooded. They're water sites. Honestly, if we did go the water route, Will, I don't I don't mind flood. It shuts off so many things.
Blood also does the exact same thing as Atlantean Fate, like you said. It's
Mm-hmm.
four is kind of hard to deal with, and it floods the sites, meaning that the Earth Berry effects do nothing.
Mm.
So It's good. I like it. Flood would be good.
Evil Presence. You may summon spirits to affected sites. Obviously, this is demanding you build a very specific way. When you summon a spirit here, give it charge. Charge is haste. And return
Yeah.
Evil Presence to its owner's hand. So much the same effect as Mariner's Curse. Obviously, it's not removal. It's just cheating past summoning sickness and where you can place your minions. Typically, you have to summon minions on your own sites. It's fine. It's not an excuse to go into air, though.
Agreed.
Entangle Train, we're probably going to glaze over, but minions occupying affected sites lose airborne, are immobile, last for 3 turns. So just, track this at the start of your, track this at the end of your turn, rather, and then it'll say when you need to track this. But it's fine. I don't know if we want Entangling Train. Just another thing that does not put us in those colors. Rest in Peace. Whenever a spirit or undead minion occupies affected land site, burrow it. It's
Very funny and cool tech piece, but not really something that we care about for the deck outside of the fact that it's a 5-drop.
mm-hmm. So we have Sandstorm, which is effectively the same thing as Blizzard. It's fine. It's just okay. How about Silence, though, Will? Another water card. Minions occupying affected sites lose all non-basic abilities.
Uh, so what
So,
would a basic ability be? Like an activated ability or
so the only basic abilities that units have is the ability to functionally pick up and carry weapons, armor, artifacts, drop weapons, armor, artifacts, and the move and attack basic action.
got it. So the
So
non-written rules on the card or
correct.
the
So like
non-written rules for the card type.
yeah, so you blank text box. So like airborne, everything, every effect outside of their basic actions. So
How does this work with Enchantress? Because wouldn't it blank itself?
if you make this a minion because of Enchantress's effect,
It silences itself and no other units. That's the ruling. Okay.
what happens if this aura is animated by it silence itself? Yeah. So you're not going to want to necessarily animate this card. I don't think, Will.
Well, it's still a or a 3 stat, so
Maybe to get that,
it could
like,
deal 3.
to bring him down to death's door. That's not a bad idea, I suppose. That's actually not a bad idea. It's also interesting because, does it affect above and below the site? I believe it does, because it's site specific. So if you made something lose, burrow or submerge, you could kill it that way.
I like it because it kills the spider. Murder the spider.
Oh wow, actually, yeah. Let's go to wait. Is that how that reads? What happens if a
Yeah.
mountain giant occupies silence? Yeah. If I'm not
So, yep.
locate so location, I believe, is specific to above ground or below ground. There's verticality to this game. Site is both places, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, the thing is also that Flood and Atlantean Fate also kill the spider because there's a difference between above ground, submerged, and burrowed.
Correct.
Burrowed is under land, submerged is under a water land or a
Water
flooded
site.
land.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, water site. So if you make a site a water site with burrowed things underneath it, they are now submerged instead of burrowed, and they would die if they don't have submerged. So it's another way to kill the spider against Earth because that is infuriating.
Yeah,
Um,
that card is just too good. No, you're absolutely right. I think that silence is just a third way to do it. Wow.
yeah,
Seems good to me. Summoning Sphere. You may summon minions to affected sites. It's just a very basic version of Crusade and Jihad. Again, not a good enough reason for me to say we should go into air. But Thunderstorm will. At the end of your turn, deal 3 damage to a random unit atop affected sites. Then you may move Thunderstorm 1 step. Okay, so this is a cute one. It only lasts 3 turns. I don't like it.
I can kind of agree with that because it's going to hit itself for 3, meaning that if it takes 1 damage from combat, it'll die. So you need to pretty much not have it attack when you're enchanting it.
Mm.
So if you enchant it, you're pretty much just giving it an extra move, and that's it. So,
Yeah, it's
eh,
fine. It's fine. I will say though, the one that people typically like to gravitate towards when they build their Enchantress is Wildfire, and you'll see why in a second.
yeah.
So Wildfire is 4 for if one threshold, so it's very easy to splash. At the end of each turn, each unit here takes 3 damage. Then move Wildfire to an adjacent location it hasn't visited before. If none remain, dispel Wildfire. Now, to my understanding, it used to be with the old wording, you could animate this and move it back to a location because it cheated around the effect. But now it cannot visit a location it's already visited before. So you can't use this to get around its own ruling because eventually Wildfire will dispel itself once it's hit every single site or just run itself into a corner. But you can hopefully reroute it to a new location provided you've animated it, right? So you can keep the longevity of this card up there. It's also just advancing on its own, so it's very good at getting to where it needs to be to do damage. I think if we
Also, you can animate Wildfire and move it to a location that it's already visited. You can. There's nothing that prevents it on the card because I'm looking at the most recent text and it's
yeah.
moving it to another location and then dispelling it if there are no locations
Uh,
that you can move it to is part of the whole effect on the card. So you can have it
well,
move
this includes
and then get
movement.
the end step trigger, deal 3, and then move it to another location. So if you wanted, you can go pop,
Well, that's what. So this
move, back, jump.
FAQ does specifically say, though, what does visited before mean? This includes movement made when animated Enchantress. Once it leaves play, then it forgets all the places it's visited. If you have multiple wildfires in play, track them separately. Yeah, so someone was telling me when I was playing Enchantress that it was eroded. So it does include movement when animated. So,
Correct. It will include movement while animated, but the thing is that you can move it to a location that it's already been to when you animate it, and then have the end step trigger and then have it move to another location that it hasn't been to.
no,
So
no. Well, but
you can retrace your steps is basically what I'm saying.
so that's exactly what I thought, but someone said that's what you can't do. The guy who lent me the deck.
That
I know.
that there's no ruling for that, and it doesn't say that anywhere on the card, and it completely follows the rules of the card to not do that. I feel like he's just incorrect.
Okay. Well, it does say it here though, Will, if you go to the card text.
Well, yeah, it says on the card text that
No, no, no.
for
On
the end
the
step movement.
in the gatherer page, whatever, the Curiosa page, FAQ.
Yeah, so it says, what does visited before mean? And this includes movements made when it's animated. Once if it leaves, then it yada yada yada. And if you have multiple, so the thing is that if you move it as an enchantment, it will mark the other places that it visits as places that it's moved to. But the thing is, the ability says that you can only move it to a location that it hasn't visited as part of the movement of the ability. However, it moving as a creature is not limited.
Um.
It's part of one long effect where it says,
All right. Well, that's just the rule that I received from the guy who played the deck. So,
yeah,
I
that does not sound correct.
we'll stick with that though for now. But I'll try to get it clear. I mean, it does say the way it reads to me, at least off the FAQ, it makes it sound like you can't visit a site again, even if it was animated.
Well,
I know it's
the
separate
thing,
from the effect. Separate from the
the
effect.
FAQ doesn't mention moving it as an animation for a creature. The FAQ says that it will note places that it has moved to, but the thing is, the ability itself says at the end of your turn, it must move to a location that it hasn't visited.
Right.
But the thing is that you're not moving at the end of your turn if you're enchanting it. You're moving whenever, and then you're moving at the
I
end of the turn
know.
afterwards.
I know. It doesn't logic, Will. I think
Well,
that's
it's
what really stumped me because I was trying to do the thing. They're like, "Oh, you can't do that." I'm like, "Wait, but this is like a triggered effect on the card.
you
You're
literally
telling me I
can do
can't."
that though.
I know. Well, I mean, that's what you think you could do.
Well, no. I am hard fighting this one. With the Pathfinder one, I can accept the
Yeah.
Pathfinder one because it kind of makes sense. With this one, no. Literally
Right.
every single part of every single ruling of the game says otherwise. This should be able to move as a creature to a place that it has visited, but for the end
Yeah.
step effect, it
Yeah.
has to move for
Right.
that.
Right. Right. I mean, no,
I'm
that,
fighting that. I am fervently fighting that.
and no, that makes 100% sense, Will. It does. But okay, that's Wildfire. It's a good card.
Okay.
The last cards are the walls. Wall of Air, Wall of Fire, Wall of Ice. Wall of Ice, these are actually kind of cool because they're you can sort of mobilize these and stop people from traversing places. The only issue being eh, if they're creatures, it's like you could just kill the creature. So I don't know how I feel about the walls necessarily. I feel like the ones that
Um,
are popular are going fire air for all the mobility. But I almost want to just take the Samano water route. Am I crazy?
Now, quick question, and the answer is probably no, but what happens if you move Wall of Fire through a unit like the other way around? Does it deal 3 damage?
Whenever a unit passes through wall of fire, it takes 3 damage. FAQ. Has it been?
Yeah, yeah, that's an interesting one. Whatever they say on the FAQ, cool. If they don't say anything on the FAQ, I'm gonna
What if it's
assume it
animated
doesn't work.
by Enchantress? It can move, but units are not passing through wall of fire due to its
Okay,
own movement. After moving,
yeah,
its effects will apply between two squares occupies. Okay, but that's still fine. Like if we did fire air, then there's a setup where you could move the wall and then use like what's it called, windswept or something. You can move things through it, right? Although it would be a unit at that point, so it would also move itself. It's awkward. It's awkward, Will. That's all I know.
I think that we're doing water plus something else for supplementation, but probably water, either water fire or water like air for thunderstorm.
I feel like water, I think water, air, but specifically because of the basic sights in air that ramp us, I think I would just prefer to have the additional ramp off of the towers and the observatory effect to let us organize the top of our deck, right? To help
Yeah,
us pad out our draws. I think that those are really good sites that this deck is probably going to need because it's highly functioning off of those. Also, it has the best cantrips in the game with Blink and flanking maneuver that draw after we move those units, and those will be very good for mobilizing our auras. So I think we should just go water air here. And
yeah,
on
I
that
agree with
note,
water air because air also has the best movement, and you can do some really shady stuff by doing animate and enchantment, then teleport it to anywhere to mess with your opponent's stuff. So you can move around your auras and use them in a more functional way by doing that. So
should
I like water air.
should we play any of the one cost auras? Should we just play any of the one cost auras? So what's cool is that they're almost like minions with Voidwalk, or I guess more specifically Brawny, the guy who could be summoned on any site, because they're one drops, but they also have effects like Summoning Sphere, where we can summon our other minions there, and then also animate this and just ping someone for 1 damage. Like it's not the worst thing in the world. Um. All right. So is there a case for Summoning Sphere and Blizzard at all?
Um, so Summoning Sphere, maybe, and the only reason why I like Summoning Sphere over Blizzard is Blizzard dispels itself,
Right.
so you can't really actually have it move and attack. Whereas with Summoning Sphere, it's gonna stick around for a tiny bit. It will let you pop Death's Door if you really want to, which is why I kind of like Summoning Sphere. But I don't know how many minions we're gonna have. I
That
feel like we're gonna be very aura based.
Yeah, or how many minions will have that have charge specifically, right? Outside of it just giving it to do 1 damage, which is fine. Um, let's steer clear of those. I will say I've maxed out the quantity of each of these auras. They all have double threshold, mind you, so it can be a little tricky to get them, but that's okay. I think our early game is just going to be like many other decks, just setting up. But I've maxed out each playset. That doesn't mean we're going to run with every single one of these. All right, now at
Yeah,
this point, I think it's probably integral to just look over the rest of what our deck can be. Oh, damn it. Too many things happening. Okay, so
too
we're
many
going to look
cooks.
up magic, Minion. Actually, why don't we just go over our artifacts really quickly because this should be easy. Yes, to audience members who have talked to me about the core's value, I agree. You know what? It's the phrasing of these things I was not actually looking at initially, and the way that cores work. They're just the best dorks in the game. There's no reason you shouldn't run cores specifically. I think the Philosopher's Stone is a bad card. I don't think it's great. I don't think it fits in a many decks, and I feel like it's too little, too late if it's drawn later. An early game, like what are you really doing with it? Especially if you have things that are non-affinity based that you want to ramp to. Cores can help you cast those where Philosopher's Stone can't.
I
Okay.
think Philosopher's Stone is all right. That is
Yeah.
the highest praise that I will give Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, genuinely, it just feels all right. Okay, so the mixes though, the mixes are kind of crucial here, but I think we might do one ofs because again, we don't have much draw in this deck as it stands. But I could see us doing like one mix of air, one mix of aqua, and being happy just to help us meet the threshold on some of our spells.
Well, I don't think we're gonna have a lot of issue meeting our threshold because as long as we're actually trying to draw and play into sites, we can hopefully reach threshold on like for at least one of our spells by like turn 2, turn 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that we can hit threshold pretty easily. And also we are going to be hitting water threshold very easily because we are flooding our own lands.
Is it weird to play Screaming Skull in this list? Whenever Bearer attacks and kills an enemy, it untaps.
Uh,
So auras take up they take up 4 locations, right? When they're animated, if they're an aura
yeah,
that's 4 locations wide, you can hit a lot of things. I don't know.
maybe. Um,
Let me see here. Let me
so
just.
you can attack with, let's say, the Atlantis one, and then you attack again, attack again, attack again, as long as you keep killing stuff. Um, it's not horrible. I don't love it though.
Let me just go to Enchantress and see. Can you animate an opponent's aura? Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
do animated auras change size? No. Okay, that's all I needed to see. So it will be like one of those, like the Hilltop Giant or whatever. It will take up 4 spaces. I just want to confirm because if we have that kind of range, how useful would it be able to get multiple swings in on a turn? Mind you, as soon as the aura is done being animated, it will drop the item. So this is an issue. But do we run Sunken Treasure, Will?
Well, I have a very dumb idea that might be kind of funny. Magnetic muzzle.
Okay.
So we can equip this to auras and then move the aura, have it fall off on our opponent's stuff, and then they're gonna have to equip it to their stuff.
Can't drop Magnetic Muzzle. Well, when it's no longer a valid target,
It falls off.
at the end of each player's turn, if Magnetic Muzzle is abandoned, that player attaches it to a nearby minion. And it doesn't say allied minion. So you could literally. So it would stop being animated at the start of our turn. At the end of our turn, it's abandoned, and we elect what minion it goes on to. It's not a. It's not bad.
Yeah, like
Loses all basic
it's
abilities and can't drop. Loses all. Okay, that's. Hmm. Is this how we get rid of the dispel effect, Will? We attach this to our blizzard?
no, I don't think so. Actually, so let's see. Yeah, we animate it, we do that, and then hold on. How does Blizzard? That might be a dumb way to lock out the game. Actually,
You
let's
just keep attaching it to blizzard?
So affected sites and units atop those sites cannot be attacked or intercepted. I mean, in theory, yeah, we could just keep this on top of our. We could just keep Blizzard on top of our avatar, and then just keep doing that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Because how does it read?
So
It's
at
a it's a
the
it
oh wait,
become so I would cast
ooh,
the spell. I cast a spell. I animate my blizzard. I attach magnetic muzzle to my blizzard. It loses all of its effects, so it wouldn't have the effectiveness of yeah.
oh
I
wait, no, yeah, it's disabling itself as well. It's losing its passive, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think that it's fair to put in this deck. It's
Yeah,
weird.
it's an interesting idea. I don't love it, but I also don't entirely hate it because you can just keep shutting off random units with really good effects.
Well, let's say that we animate our Atlantean fate, and its genesis already happened. It's already flooded all the stuff. Whatever, it's fine. If it'll regain those static effects after it enters the world as a you know aura again. So
Yeah, my
I don't
one
know.
thing with the Blizzard is that we equip it on our turn, and then it's inactive through our opponent's turn, so our stuff can be attacked on the site. So
Mm-hmm.
using it with Blizzard is pointless. Using it with other stuff, we're pretty much just making it a pure creature and disabling
Mm-hmm.
something for a turn, then moving Magnetic Muzzle to our opponent's stuff on our next turn to mess with our opponent. So,
Do you like maddening bells?
let's see.
Look at this.
Spellcast.
You just give this to one of your things and just walk it over there.
Yeah, I guess that is definitely a thing that you can do. Uh, my thing is that it's gonna keep falling off, so you'll have to keep re-equipping it, but that's also not
I
really
don't
an
know.
issue.
Like you put the onus on them, right? It's like their problem. they gotta they gotta move this shit back over to you. It seems pretty good. I don't know, man.
That's funny. There's so many weird things that we can do with equipment.
Right. So let me read this. When summoning minions, does maddening bells care about the location where the minion is summoned or where the spellcaster is? Only where the spellcaster is, not the summoning location. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
that just cripples a lot of game plans.
our opponent's game plans. It's for
Yeah.
cost though. So my thought is like you play something, you animate one of your auras that's in enemy lines, you give it maddening bells, right?
Yeah, you can do that. And it's gonna hit four location or it's gonna yeah, no, it's gonna hit four locations that are like in a square instead of in a plus.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be hard to move out of to some extent. They actually can still just move out of the range over and over and over again though.
True,
If we
but
get multiple
but
maddening bells though, we just start pinning them.
look at this then. You are forcing them to take a movement action or use a card to just get away from this. But if you're using a card to get away from this, that blink cost 4 now. Do you know what I mean? Like you're really pigeonholing their actions
Yeah,
and wasting their resources. While we've got a thing called abundance just giving us mad mana on every single turn, like it doesn't even matter for us. Like if it
yeah,
does
and
find its way back to us, is it really an issue?
we're also just gonna be constantly following them and punching them with our aura, so I guess the one way it bites us is they move towards our avatar.
Well, okay. So do we want magnetic muzzle?
Probably not.
You don't think so?
I don't hate it, but
Here's what I'm gonna do.
not.
I'm gonna sideboard this because I think it's cool and it should be considered. Or maybe I should maybe board it. I'll maybe board one. I'll maybe board the Maddening Bells. If there's any deck that I think could use Maddening Bells, I think it's this one.
Yeah,
Um,
it's because we can just kind of pass it around over and over and over again and try to block off our opponents.
all right, that's that for that. Will let's go ahead and look at magic and minions between water and air. All right, we've got 127 things to look at. I'm gonna say that we should just put 4 blinks in the deck. I think. I know other people think maybe think I'm crazy for that. I think Blink is just a really good card. You should just run 4 copies of Blink. Even if you have common sense in your deck, the thing that will find ordinary cards, run 4 blinks. It's a good card. Although I don't want to go too heavy into air just because, well, hmm, we're pretty unevenly split here, I guess is what I'm saying. By the way, Undine will 5 for 2 affinity water. Submerge gets +1 for each site in her body of water. We're flooding everything, right?
Yeah, so we are gonna be flooding a good amount. She's pretty good, just as a general option. One other card that I thought would be kind of nice is a dodge roll, potentially. Just
Oh, to keep the thing alive.
because we can keep our enchantments alive and move our enchantments around with dodge roll. So we're just preventing attacks and moving our auras around even more.
Oh, it says the reposition stuff. That's amazing. I'll put 2 for now.
It's also really funny because if our opponents try to attack something, we can dodge roll, animate another enchantment, and then intercept.
Hold up. How does Enchantress read? Whenever you cast a spell, you may animate until your
It's
next
only
turn.
until our turn, so it's we can only intercept, but we can intercept.
It's an aura minion whenever you cast a spell. So if you cast dodge roll off turn, you can animate another aura. You can animate another aura to defend the previous aura and kill the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, Will, that's pretty good.
So, and I want to make sure because
I
an
think that's
attacked
pretty good.
ally name may cast when an ally is attacked.
Love
When
it.
an attacked ally may move to another adjacent location and evade the attack. It's funny.
Will, what do you think about Fade? Give an allied minion stealth. If it occupies an enemy site, draw a card. You
Yeah,
animate
that's
it,
that's very funny.
you hit them, and then you say, "Oh, that thing that just hit you for 5, you can't touch it. I'm gonna draw a card. Here go."
Yeah,
I think that's
that is pretty funny.
I think that's
How does
pretty good. I
so
think
how
that's
does
pretty good.
stealth work with enchantments? An enchantment can have stealth theoretically, right?
Well, a minion specifically can have stealth, so it's an aura minion with stealth.
Well, so the thing is that it gives a minion stealth, but can enchantments have stealth? And I'm asking because that does that mean that you'll have an enchantment that's permanently stealthed until it takes damage, which it can't take?
Well, it's specifically when it deals damage, so you can hit it and it won't lose stealth. Yeah, the wording on stealth says it has to deal damage. It can take damage.
Okay. Then my Pudge Butcher should have I should have kept my Pudge Butcher last game.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sad.
Well, yeah, wording on stealth.
Or so,
I'll have a rule book adjacent this whole time. But Will,
yeah,
this is really am I this is really good. Is this a 3 of?
yeah. I mean, it's good. It's a cantrip that will let us animate our enchants at worst. So I do like it.
Right. And give any it needs to be a minion specifically, so we do want we need a target for it. I'm pretty sure we need a target for this to be able to cast it. I mean, that would only make sense, right?
Yeah.
Um all right, so I'm really loving the spells that we're putting in this deck because they are so atypical. Like these are not things you run in other decks outside of Blink, which I might even drop to 3 now just to keep it. I want to see what we have. I think Dodge Roll can be a 3 of. I don't like that it doesn't cantrip, but imagine if it cantripped. All right, well, what do we want? What else do we want? Do we want Browse? Look at your next 7 spells, put one of them into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your spell book in any order. That seems good, right? This is just
Uh,
no. It's a must include. I'm sorry. It's just
yeah.
a auto
Browse is
animate.
just kind of an auto include.
Yeah. Okay. I think that I'm gonna put 2 of the Undyne just because for now. I know she's very expensive. Is Captain Baldessari worth running, Will? Whenever Captain Baldessari attacks a unit or a site, the defending player discards their topmost 3 spells. You may cast each of those spells once this turn, ignoring threshold requirements. With as much mana as we could potentially be generating.
Maybe just because we can hit spells and then cast them to animate our enchantments.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the biggest fan of the captain, but I don't hate the captain either.
He's a one of. So it's not that bad.
Yeah,
There's so many
fair
cards
enough.
to look at. I think that we do need to include some effects that just bolt the opponent as like finishers. So let me just add. I added 3 drowns as well. I think that these are going to be good utilities for us. We're gonna have to cut a lot of stuff, mind you. Jeez, Louise, dude. Yeah, this deck wants so many cards. So let's just take inventory on what our deck is doing. So we're silencing things, making them lose their effects. We are flooding things, right? Making them lose, making them die if they're burrowed. We are Mariner's cursing things, which really wants to pull things towards it and submerge them. I think we need to play to our strengths so far as our actual auras are concerned. So if we were to animate Mariner's Curse and move it towards a minion, that is not the minion moving into the effective area, affected water site, mind you. So we definitely want to be able to push things towards it. And Thunderstorm itself is fine. We don't need to think too hard on that. Abundance is fine. Atlantean Fate is fine. I do think the things that play well into the strategy are things that care about water sites, though. And we've got that with Undyne. One of the things that I always feel is an auto include is usually the Dapperel Vampire, but here it's not necessary. It's life
Yeah,
gain.
because we already have a good amount of generic beaters, so
Mm-hmm.
the vampire isn't all that.
Do you like the Diluvian Kraken, Will? An
Uh,
8 for 8, a surface to strike each other unit nearby. Strike each other unit nearby.
I don't hate him, especially considering the fact that if we play the 5 mana aura, we probably have enough mana to play the Kraken next turn anyways.
Mm-hmm.
We can kind of turbo out the Kraken.
And also, effectively, if it's a flood, we flooded a turn prior or whatever, we can put this. Damn, we can put this like well within their territory pretty quickly, right? Let me see here.
Yeah,
Well,
and
no, it would have to
just
start. Hmm,
just ignore everything. This is
hmm.
an 8/8, and as long as it stands on top of a water location, it can never die.
Probably not,
I like it,
unless it's like a disintegrate, or there are things that like auto kill things.
but it's very few and far in between, and people usually use berry effects to kill instead of actual kill spells or burn effects. This will never die to burn. This can't get buried as long as it's on top of a flooded location.
I'm gonna put one in for now. There's also another guy that permanently floods all sites that we should probably consider. Will it's an 8
Yeah,
for 16.
I'll agree to that. Because
Okay,
once again, it costs 8.
okay, so you can summon these minions submerged as well, so like you can kind of protect it. But 8, 3 threshold, 16, submerge, Genesis, permanently flood the entire realm, including voids.
Yeah,
So I think that this one of is worth it.
agreed.
I think that grapple
And
shot is very good for us because when we start animating auras, we can shoot a projectile from our auras and just hit things and then move our auras directly there and strike the thing.
yeah,
That seems
agreed.
good. I think grapple
We
shot
can
is very good.
it's also functionally a death's door kill effect.
Mm-hmm. I think draw is kind of crucial in this game. Grandmaster Wizard is cute. People usually mainline these just because draw is so integral. Do you have any feelings on? It's like it's not a. It's just there. It's 6 mana draw 3. Is what I'm saying.
Uh, I do kind of like Grandmaster Wizard just because draw, like you said, draw is good. If we really wanted, we could probably. I was gonna say we can use the spell book, but the spell book's actually not too great in our deck
Well,
because we
that's
have some high
interesting.
cost things that can just kill our auras if we did want to bounce between auras.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. I think we have enough draw via cantrips. Like we get to use some really good cantrips, like Fade and Blink are very good. We've got the card quality with Browse. Like we're gonna get it. I think we'll be good. Adept Illusionist is really funny. Like if they don't remove both, Adept Illusionist stays. So basically, tap, search your hand, cemetery, or spell book for another Adept Illusionist and summon it nearby. Shuffle if needed. So basically, if they don't kill both Adept Illusionist in one go, you just keep the Adept Illusionist in game the whole game, and they're spellcasters. So it's kind of cool. Some of our things care about, being nearby the spellcaster. I don't think we're actually rolling with any of those, but all right, let's look at the rest of these. I do want something again to just bolt things. We could actually roll with Chaos Twister as well if we wanted to be that player. It's a little obnoxious though, in my opinion, as another piece of removal.
Recently I heard that Mortality was a good card.
Yeah, we're probably not going to run it here. We don't because you can't disable your own avatar. Dream Quest is good, but we need other spellcasters for it. So I don't think we're going to run Dream Quest, but it's a tutor,
Yeah.
basically slow tutor.
Um, so what do we think of Megamoeba since we're in air, so we do move like a bit?
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, Will, I'm sorry. Fey Changeling, I want to look at with you in a second, but let
Sure
me look
thing.
at Mega Amoeba. Mega
That's
Amoeba's
the
cute.
move to make bigger thing. So since we're in wind, which is the move color, that's why I wanted to look into Megamoeba potentially.
Right. Where is Mega Amoeba, dude? He's not showing up for me. Mega Amoeba gets +1 power for each site it's visited.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about Mega Amoeba. I don't know. I feel like it's cute. Doesn't it just die? But everything dies to removal, mind you. I'm just saying, is the payoff there for Mega Amoeba? Mega Amoeba moves by
Uh,
extending itself single blah blah blah. It occupies all locations it's ever occupied and has +1 power for each. If you teleport it, does that count? Because that's how a
wait,
lot of the air cards read.
wait. Landowner's deed on an aura.
Oh, did we miss that synergy?
Yeah, kinda. So we can use that to just disable four of our opponent's locations at once and get four locations for free.
Barra you control the site.
Yeah,
Well, at
and
the start of your next turn, it would drop the land deed, though, mind you.
yeah, so you don't get the mana from the lands, but the thing is your opponent loses four lands.
Right, right. Well, only if the bearer is still holding it, so it will effectively stop them, right? But as soon as your turn rolls around again and they're unanimated, they'll drop the land deed. So I'll get the site back.
Yeah, but then you'll pick it up again. Like you can just animate the enchantment and pick it up again.
Mm,
Like you can do that and you just kind of cripple your opponent's land base because if they make any square out of their lands, they just don't have lands.
that's true. Sorry, I'm late. Had a minor emergency this morning. I'm sorry to hear that. But I'm starting at the beginning now. Okay, okay, cool, cool. Yeah, you should. This has been an interesting stream. I gotta say, Enchantress is posing some really interesting questions for us, insofar as what we want to do with it. But we're going water air. I think it is the best route for this deck, especially with the scry effect from the rivers as well. Well, look into the card Silence. Fork TCG says works well with animating auras like Thunderstorm. Correct. Because Silence would. So if you animate Thunderstorm near the Silence, it would lose all of its effects. Does it have memory though, Fork TCG, of the amount of turns it's tracked being in game? Is my question. So if we animate this, will it lose the amount of rotations it's seen? Or does it reset? What do you think, Will? I would imagine that it's still Thunderstorm and still knows how long it's been in play, but that's just my logic.
Yeah, it depends on how it keeps track of it. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, for TCG, if you have a definitive answer on that, please let me know. I'm curious to know. We have Silence in the deck though. It makes them lose abilities, so the card Thunderstorm has. I'll read once you've put your thought down there. But take your time. Take your time. It would lose its abilities, right? But does it forget that it's been in play for X amount of turns? Is the question.
Yeah, if it makes it last longer, then
Right. Well, the text goes away, but only for as long as it's animated, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
Um,
it's the question we're pretty much asking is it will become unanimated at the start of our turn. If it has been around for 4 turns now, that it was animated for that 1 turn, will it stay around forever now because it can only be removed on the 3rd turn, or will it say I've been around for at least 3 turns and then kill itself?
mhm. So I kind of like Fey Changeling to give us repeatable value from our auras. Well,
In which would so Fate Changeling or Fey Changeling?
Fey Changeling. So it's 3 mana, one water threshold,
That'd be why I
power of
didn't.
one. Maybe summon to any site. So no matter where your aura is, like your thunderstorm or whatever, you can summon it there. Genesis, you may return a minion here to its owner's hand. We're ramping, right? So we should be able to hit this pretty easily. So if we cast, here's my question. What is the order of priority? I cast this, it enters the battlefield. Enchantress trigger, Genesis trigger, correct? I elect to do one or the other first. So I say, animate my thunderstorm that is on its last leg. Return that minion back to my hand. Continue to thunderstorm.
So I really like it because one thunderstorm, like you're saying, but we have a Genesis aura that is a board wipe.
I know, I know, I know.
So I actually do. I like Fey Changeling. I like
So,
it.
but am I? You know what I mean? Like again, I need to speak with someone who would know that the layering system is not outlined clearly in this game. But my magic logic is saying that I can elect to do one of these triggers. I can elect to do one over the other, right? Or which one takes priority? If Genesis just always takes priority, then I don't. Then I'm wrong. But I mean, in my head, this works the way I just described it. So.
Yeah, we can play it as it works like that because I don't know if it has a definitive ruling yet,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll play it as if it works like that for our testing. If someone knows a official ruling afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
we can just acknowledge that and make a note of it later.
What do you think about Geyser? 2 mana this turn, flood target site and give each minion their airborne. Draw a card. Is
Uh,
that weird?
the fact that it's a draw card is really nice.
But you give
We
your
can,
sorry, but you can give your aura airborne and then it could move diagonally. So like it gets even more range.
yeah, and I do like that. Um, I mean, yeah, I don't hate it because if we have a couple auras that make everything into or everything flooded,
Mm-hmm.
so it's good. I do like it. Yeah, yeah.
Font of Life is actually good in this deck with how many things we're flooding. Each ally heals. Each ally heals an amount equal to the number of sites in its body of water. So if we're attacking, taking damage, those things are making every single thing flooded, right? Like your flood, your Atlantean fate. So basically they'll attack, they'll heal, and if we use the Screaming Skull, we could get more attacks in, but we'll also heal us.
Uh,
It's kind of a good way to bounce back here.
yeah, like it's not bad because it's primarily going to be there to heal up our avatar more than anything else, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. But it is a mass heal, so we could take a turn, swing in with everything we want to swing in with, and then mass heal.
Hmm.
Not horrible. It's not. I'm still iffy on heal effects, considering the fact that there's a health cap. But
I think you'd maybe run one of these and then late game just heal a mass amount, right? I'm used to Divine Healings in Battle Mage because I just take so much damage, and I get the use out of the heal 7. Like I've never like not completed the 7 heal. Fire
yeah,
Harpoons and Flanking Maneuver. So 2 more cantrips. 2 mana, 3 mana. Teleport any number of allies in a chest knife's move away, draw a card. You also have Fire Harpoons, which is deal 1 damage to target minion above or below an adjacent water site and pull it to the caster's location. So This could be a cool way to pull things into Mariner's Curse, technically.
Yeah.
It also
Uh,
cantrips, so you draw a card at the end of it.
yeah. The thing is that the only spellcaster that I think we're gonna have
Just our
is
avatar. Yeah.
yeah. So and it's an adjacent water site.
Yeah.
So unless we're planning on moving in with our avatar, I don't think
Well,
that it's gonna do a ton.
we could blink the avatar around and get into the location. Seriously, that's what I would do.
Uh, I think we have enough cantrips. The fact that it works with the Mariners is the only thing that
Hmm.
I kind of want to consider it for.
Well, we don't really have anything else that's working with Mariners, right? Because grappling shot pulls us towards the thing.
Yeah.
So it's the inverse.
The only reason why I'm still fine with Mariners is that we can just kind of use to block our opponent's stuff and then turn it into a 3 stat if we need to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we're already at 46 spells. I just want to note. It's just that
Yeah.
we need to get some finishers in the deck. And because we're
I
predominantly water, I think it's probably better our finishers come by way of something like Ice Lance, maybe like one or two of these in the deck.
Do we really need finishers? Pretty much our entire deck is either cantrips or units, so our
Mm,
units are our finishers.
you would rather go without magics?
I don't think that we need a lot of magics.
Okay.
Uh, Maybe like an Ice Lance is still good because it is a kill spell removal for a couple different things. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that we're kind of playing a tempo game plan where we're forcing our opponent to respond to our things. Um, but do we do the deed? That is the question.
I'd put them in the
To
deck. We can definitely resolve that soon.
Yeah, that's
One of
a
the oh sorry.
you're good.
So one of the reasons we do need other spells to cast, and a lot of our spells are kind of costly. So let me look at what else we can use. That's a good utility. I like the utilities that cantrip for the basic reason that they cantrip.
Deck
Um,
thinning.
yeah, no, legitimately. So like that's why things like the harpoon seem okay. And it also plays well with Mariner's Curse. I don't know how many other things that actually pull. We can search these texts soon though, just to make sure we can get them. Giant Shark is like a reason people like water. Whenever another unit enters or moves between sites in this body of water, this includes your units. Giant Shark moves to that unit to fight it. So this is a good protective card. It will trigger multiple times a turn. Again, the only issue is if it's one of your own things. And the issue is our aura minions that flood sites that they're on will create bodies of water that the giant shark can move into. So maybe not so good. It kills a lot of things though.
Yeah.
Kills quite a lot of things.
I mean, if we really want though, we could move like a 3 mana aura to move the giant shark all the way across the board and then have our giant shark fight the enemy avatar. So,
That's if the enemy avatar moves though.
no, no, no. I'm saying that we have the giant shark teleport across the board
Mm,
because we moved something and then we have an
well,
attack.
it's not a May though. So like if it moved and did 5 damage to the 3 cost aura, the aura would die and then it would
Correct.
cease being flooded and it's water bound. So there's a lot of issues hampering like the mobility of this card. The thing that it hits needs to survive, and then yes, it could feasibly move and kill the thing, right?
But the thing that hits doesn't need to survive. We can have it kill like the Mariner's Curse and then have it deal 5 to the enemy avatar.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Um, just make sure that the aura that is creating the flooded site doesn't die. Um,
Yeah, 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 and we can keep the flooded site things still in imposition. I'm just saying that we can use our auras to kind of teleport the shark around at the cost of our auras if we want to. It's not fantastic, but it's not horrible. It's good at picking off things against Earth decks, like all the small dinky creatures.
mhm.
Um,
Let me read this card. Does it affect airborne as well? Will it fight your own units? Yes. Enters includes minions that are summoned? Yes. If a unit moves within the same site? No. Will it fight units that are airborne and stealth? That's what I want to know. And the answer is yes. This isn't an attack, so it breaks the targeting restrictions. But actual fight, which simply specifies the fight based on card text. So if there's anything that triggers when something fights, also fight implies that both things strike one another. Okay,
Yeah.
so it can die if it fights a bunch of things. What happens if I summon my minion with Genesis into opponent's shark body of water? When handling multiple events, the active player puts all their effects on the timeline first, then the non-active player puts all their effects on the timeline, which will be added before the active player's effects. Sites, those have yet to resolve. Then the timeline resolves in order. So the shark's ability resolves first, likely killing my minion before the Genesis resolves. I don't know why they say my minion here. Other than magic spells, if the source of an effect is not in the realm when the effect would resolve, the effect fails. Did you catch that?
So
So
yeah, so it's
Genesis
inverse order of action, exactly like magic for
in
the
the
stack at least.
right, but if the thing that Genesis was a minion and it's no longer in the realm, its effect fails.
Oh,
That is unlike
all right.
magic. Yeah. That is really interesting to hear. So if I controlled both the summoned minion and the shark, I would be able to choose the order each effect goes on the timeline. Okay. Well, that helps a lot so far as Fey Changeling is concerned. Just that right there. What path can shark take? The control of the shark specifies a path for the shark with the fewest possible steps to the other unit. If there are multiple equal short paths the controller chooses, it has to be the shortest path. That's interesting. Can shark's path include movement from surface to underwater or underwater to surface? Yes, as long as the path specified is the fewest steps possible. Can the shark move through a silence aura?
Oh, you know why that's relevant?
Hmm.
The freaking Trailblaze thing. The this minion does 2 damage to every thing it passes through.
Oh,
So
so
you
you
can't
can't
just go
just.
kill
Hmm,
everything.
that's fair. The movement and fight still occur. The specific resolution is unit enters the water site. Shark's ability triggers. You specify the movement steps to reach the target. They all go on the timeline. Shark starts moving. It enters the silence aura, but the effect of the ability are still on the timeline and aren't removed, so they continue resolving normally. Shark can move through our own silence, Will.
Neat. That's also useful because our shark can
Yes.
move into our own silence and then be disabled if we really want to.
Right, and then we just have a 5 beater. I think Shark is good. That
Yeah.
is very weird. It feels like it's skirting around a few rules, but it works, so screw it. What are we doing? Minions, water, air. It's not loading all of them anymore. Damn. Let me refresh this. One thing I want to do though is share this deck list with you guys. Give me 1 second. Actually, we'll do it this way. No, okay. Well, let me do it that way. Just so you guys can see where we are. We're going to revise it and play it in just a few, so hang tight. But the deck list is actually in the description now, so if you want to check it out. This has been a long build, Will. This is like kind of a tough deck to make. There you go.
It's because there's so many weird rules and restrictions for Enchantress. There's so many weird little things that keep popping up.
So, Will, what I like is Wind Blast in this deck for Mariner's Curse. Push everything atop sites 1 step in a cardinal direction. So you can drag their stuff closer to you.
I don't hate it.
And this is pre-animation, so it won't move anything that you animate afterwards. I like it
Yeah.
quite a bit. I don't know how many we actually run with. Wrath of the Sea. Flood all sites adjacent to a body of water this turn, then submerge all minions and artifacts on water.
That's that's really good. That's just a mass kill spell.
It's 7 mana to do. Is
We
that
still might be able to do it, but
it
yeah,
feels
7 mana is kind of hard.
I'm gonna leave that one be. That feels a little costly.
We can sideboard it, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I'll put it on the maybe board. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We've got Whirring Blades. An ally may take 2 steps and then strike each enemy along their path. Our auras take up 4 spaces, so it will hit a lot of things. And it's striking, so it's not taking damage back. It's also 5 mana, though. kind of up there. Discard a water site, untap yokai kappas. We're not trying to do that. Target a nearby site. Return each artifact and minion there to its owner's hand. Upwelling.
That's the where's that? Trying to find upwelling. Yeah, there's upwelling. Um, that's not horrible because we might want to bounce our own things just to like play them over and over and over again so that we can keep the enchantment loop going.
Mm-hmm.
It also won't bounce our enchantments and then we can animate the thing on the location where everything was just bounced. So this is like clear the way to a 1v1 with the avatar pretty easily.
You like return to hand. You can also return your own thing to your hand too if you want to repeat.
Yeah, I like it. I do like upwelling. That's a good piece of removal
Is
for
it
us.
main boardable though?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'll put one in the deck for now. Do you like Unlikely Alliance? Draw a card for each rarity among allied minions.
Uh, yes, only because our allied minions are going to include our enchantments.
How much
And how
draw do you need to get for that to be playable for 4 mana?
yeah,
Two?
for 4 that's hard.
Because if we're using the Grandmaster Wizard as a scale, it's 2 mana per card. So
Yeah.
I would say that two is fair.
Yeah, probably 2.
So how many minions do we have? Let me see the rarities here. I think our rarities are kind of going to be in the same field, man. Like,
Yeah.
exceptional, elite, exceptional. I think all of the auras are exceptional or elite or unique, by the way.
Yeah.
I think we might get two out of it, maybe.
I'm not the biggest fan of it because I prefer
No.
to try to get 3. That
How
might be my
about
magic mind talking.
Twist of Fate, Will? X triple water. Exchange life totals with target opponent. X is the difference between your life totals.
Uh, I think that we are probably fine without it because I have a feeling our life total is usually going to be higher than our opponents,
Mm-hmm.
other than like the initial burst.
How about Unland Angler? At the start of your turn, if Unland Angler is submerged, force each enemy minion atop adjacent sites to take a step forward to this one.
So it pulls everything into this site pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really good with our one aura as well. Uh, so let's see. It's really good with that one aura that we already have.
Right, which Mariner's
It's
Curse is a 3 of. It's
it's
a
really good at just completely locking out some of our opponent's stuff because our opponents can't move out of this pretty much ever.
unless they
Because
teleport away or something. And
yeah, like
it's only
they
adjacent.
need some,
Right.
yeah. But the thing is, they can only move adjacent, so other than airborne and extra movement.
Mm-hmm.
So this just does lock out a lot of units in an area as well. I don't hate it.
It's also Drew Tucker art, so gets my vote. Teleport, Will. Teleport an ally to the surface of target site.
Uh,
We've got a lot of
good with
submerged things. So submerged things can move and attack up to the site they're on, but they cannot move out and attack adjacent. So teleport gives us the ability to unsurface our 16 Hydra and hit face. I don't think the
yeah.
Hydra is waterbound, by the way. Let me read.
It
Actually,
isn't. It isn't.
the Great Old One is not waterbound. My
No.
God.
So teleport I think is also good because if we want to do the whole land deed thing,
Mm-hmm.
we can just teleport to our opponent's stuff and then they're kind of locked. So that helps. That helps with that strategy if we want to animate an aura then because we can play land deed next to an aura, equip it to the aura and then teleport the
Mm-hmm.
aura with something else.
Ooh, this might be better than Upwelling, man. For 4, 1 threshold, submerge all minions and artifacts occupying water site, target water site. If you do that and you submerge their cores and they don't have a character that submerges, and we do, we can take their cores,
Yeah, I like that.
right? Um, or whatever they're holding. I like that quite a bit, actually. It is 4, mind you, so it's a little costly.
Yeah.
Sneak Thief is kind of cute. It's stealth, tap, steal an artifact out of the hands of another unit here. Stay stealthed. Wow. I've never seen anyone play this card. It's 2 mana, 2 damage, stealth. It can steal artifacts and stay stealthed. That's kind of cool.
So the issue is that you tap to move, and I think that's why people don't play it.
Right, but we're in air, so we should be able to like whoop.
I mean, we can, but the thing is, one, our opponents need to have like only one good artifact on a thing, and then two, like we need to teleport Sneak Thief onto something.
Yeah. Target minions at location up to 2 steps away fall asleep. It's disabled until it takes damage. It's not bad. So this is the color of Shrink and Polymorph. Will, do you want any of that stuff, or is it unnecessary? Do you imagine?
I think it's probably unnecessary because we're just kind of a mid-range beater deck.
You know what? I like Riptide a lot, dude. Target water site pulls an above ground unit to include avatars. It's adjacent to draw a card.
Yeah, that's good with the Mariner's Curse, and it's a cantrip, so I like it.
Yep.
Also, that lets us do some weird stuff with our enchantments, I think, because if our enchantment is on the border between things, it might. No, probably doesn't. No, it's just considered a large thing. But we can still pull our own enchantments around for a tiny bit of movement potentially.
Yeah, it's a mobility trick that cantrips, and in my opinion, this is really no different than Blink, except it's only operating on a level adjacent to said water site. But if we're flooding, it's not a water site we control, by the way. You know, it could be
Right.
any, like if we flood a site of water on their field, we can move things around over there too. I actually like this a lot. I actually like this a whole lot. Um, yeah, dude,
I like it.
This with Mariner's Curse is such a good combo. Actually, Riptide Mariner's
Yep.
Curse is the combo. We finally
Yep.
found the
Yep.
card. I'm sorry, I've never really looked into the water synergies, so this is all news for me. But conjure a copy of an artifact carried by the caster. Replication's cute. I don't know if we really need it. And the last of the cards will are recurring specter, maybe cast from your cemetery, can't defend. Teleport any number of allied minions to caster's location. Raise the dead, summon a random dead minion. This includes your opponent's graveyard. I think we're okay with that. Rain of arrows, deal 1 damage to each above ground minion. Good for getting rid of foot soldiers and weak creatures, honestly. Not necessarily essential for us. Puppet Master is cute. I don't think we're going to use it. The Porcupine, I don't really like the Scorpion or Porcupine Lethal Submerge, Lethal Burrow. I think it's a dead space in the deck. I think that you should be doing better things with your turn. No offense if you play them. But it's a good way to defend if you feel like you're going to be on the back foot every game. Psionic Blast. Deal 1 damage to each minion here. They're disabled until your next turn. Kind of cool. Poly's fine. Polar Explorers. Allied units here can move as if the top and bottom edges of the realm were connected. I don't think we need that because we have absurd range. Again, the phasers are unnecessary. The flyers are unnecessary. Summoning 7 frogs is kind of weird. Is there anything that's standing out to you, Will, that we're missing in this deck? Again, we need to cut a lot of cards, so it's not like we're hurting for
I think
cards.
we're pretty good on most things. The only thing that I find kind of funny, interesting, is Polar Explorers plus an animated enchantment. Like you can
Yeah.
just move it to your opponent's side and start flooding stuff immediately. I think that's funny. I don't think that's useful.
So I like Marine Voyage, excuse me. This is one thing that can really pop off well in this list if we have our flooded sites going. But this turn, your units can move between any sites in a chosen body of water as if they were adjacent. So this is extreme mobility in water, but it is contingent on having a bunch of flooded sites within a singular body of water. but I think we could do that pretty easily. But also, this does dude, this shores up a couple of strategies. Let me just add one copy, and then we'll look at the synergies within our deck, I think. So we've removed, there's no lightning bolt, ice lance, nothing to ping an enemy at death's door. We're sort of just relying on beaters, which is, again, very atypical. I don't mind this, though. There are some cantrip effects. I'm just going to add one fire harpoon just to see if we want to run it now. That's it. Let's go ahead and look, though. Let's go ahead and look at the deck and make some cuts. All right, gang. We've got a lot of cards. So we have no sites yet, but I think the site base is going to be easy for us to manipulate. We need to cut 20 cards, Will.
Yeah, so I think we can start off with cutting uh
Let's look at the...
Upwelling.
Oh, sorry.
Upwelling could probably be cut first. I think maybe Font of Life. Grapple Shot is
I agree on the upwelling. We don't need upwelling.
yeah. Grapple Shot, I don't think we need a ton of mobility because
We
in
have that in spades, right? Because we're
yeah, we
just...
already have a ton of mobility, so I don't think we need Grapple Shot.
I honestly want to prioritize removing most of the air stuff first, just because this is a predominantly water deck. And I would like to not be so heavily skewed towards having to cast air things. Obviously, blinks are kind of integral, and Fade, in my opinion, is super good. Fade is super good. Not unless the thing is holding Land Deed. Then it's not so good. But it's still
Yeah.
going to go stealth. It's just, you're not going to cantrip. Um,
I think we can cut Wind Blast because it's just kind of like a worse, significantly worse Riptide.
100%. No. 100%. Riptide at 2. This is a 3 of in my mind for the deck. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Magnetic Muzzle is on our maybe board. Okay, so I got that out of the way. So far as our artifacts are concerned, I like the cores. I like the one of the mixes. I have 2 land deeds. Is this excessive? Is this
I
good?
I think Land Deed is good because we pretty much have the combination of play an aura somewhere, then we play a land deed which animates the aura, and then equip the land deed to the aura and gain control of our opponent's lands for the turn, and
Mm-hmm.
then we shut them off on like probably 3 lands or 2 lands or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think land deed it's pretty nice.
Do you want 2 Stormy Seas in the deck or no Stormy Seas? Submerge all minions and artifacts occupying target water site.
I like 2 Stormy Seas because it's not going to be hard to get to 4 and mm, yeah,
I
target water site. Yeah, I think it's fine.
I think we should probably look at the minions first, honestly. I
Yeah,
removed Undyne. The gets 1 power for each site in her body of water. I think she's really cool. I think she synergies really well here. But so far as bombs are concerned, I'd rather have
we
the
have better
guys that
ones.
Genesis and kill things, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
I think that's just better. Captain Baldessari is, I think, still good as a one-off. Like, if we effectively ramp and we're able to steal stuff from their deck, it just feels good. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm overvaluing him, but 3, I will say 3 is the magic number for removal. 3 is like the most common attack attribute, attack defense attribute.
Yeah,
And it's very easy to wipe off the board.
I think we can probably cut Fey Changeling because it can do some good things, but it's so many hoops to jump through to try to get like really good value.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What this game about? Jan, if you stick around, you'll actually get to see us play this game, and you'll see what it's about. How about that? It's a very fun game, though. Trust me. Are you on Captain Baldessari train or no?
Yeah, I like the captain. Captain's cool.
How about the self-same simulacrum?
Uh, so looking at our auras, there's not like a ton of things that I think we really care about copying for the most part.
If she copies something with a Genesis ability, though, does she
Yeah,
get the Genesis ability?
I believe so, because I think it's
Does it copy Genesis abilities?
maybe summoned as
Yes.
a basic copy of another thing. Yeah.
Becomes an aura. Whoa. If it tries to become a basic copy of an aura animated by Enchantress, what happens? Self-same simulacrum becomes an aura, not a minion, since that's the actual text of the animated aura. As soon as Self-Same Simulacrum is an aura, it expands to the proper size based on the card text and the default aura rules, and must continue to occupy the locations that was specified during the cast. Dude, this has so much utility.
Yeah,
Because it can copy like their best minion. It could copy one of our auras and get,
yeah. The fact that it hits enemy stuff is actually really nice. I do like that.
yeah. Well, here's my thing though. Like, it's basically saying that we have 3 Atlantean Fates if we happen to hit both of them and Atlantean Fate. I don't know. I like it. Do we run one? Do we run two?
I think we can run one for now.
Okay. Giant Shark.
Giant Shark I do like because it's really good with silence. We might be able to get rid of the Underland Angler, maybe. It's I do still like Underland Angler to some extent because of
So
the Mariner's Curse.
Unland Angler at the start of your turn. If Unland Angler is submerged, force. This is good control, but that combo is what? It's a 2 of right now, Unland Angler, and it's a 3 of with Mariner's Curse. Mariner's Curse is always going to go back to our hand. If they don't remove the Unland Angler, we have a combo that locks them out of entering sites at that location. They would need to
Yeah,
build around it. They would need to build around this. And even then, they have to build really far around this because it's adjacent. I don't know, man. I almost like that more than Giant Shark because Giant Shark's a double-edged sword.
yeah, I agree. I agree. We can probably cut Giant Shark and then keep the Angler.
2 anglers is fine.
Yeah, two
So
Anglers should be fine.
I have one Grandmaster Wizard in the deck.
I like that.
Just one.
Yeah, just one. Because we don't need a ton of draw. It's just a little bit of draw.
All right, well. Diluvian Kraken. It is an elite. We can have 2 of these. 8, triple threshold, 8 power, submerge, tap, surface to strike each other unit nearby. Nearby. Is this worth it?
I think so. It's a pseudo wipe and it's really really hard to kill it because if it's submerged, that means that it's it can't be targeted by pretty much anything.
Well, this really makes me want that portal aura now. Because mind you, it's only gonna. Where's that portal aura? Oh, we never sidelined it. Because it can only go under our own sites at first, and then we need to move it around to give it the kind of utility that we're hoping for, right?
Yeah, but I think it's still fine kind of as it is because if we just play it and then we eventually have it pop up as a giant 8 drop to punch an avatar, that's going to be a lot of damage. So we can kind of chase our opponents down with the Hydra
So you're
or the
the
Kraken, my
do you
bad.
want 1 Kraken or 2 Kraken?
I think one is fine.
Brent Crow is right. It does hit our own stuff. That's one of the drawbacks of the card. So obviously, make sure that you don't animate a thing before you start swinging, because 8 damage is a lot. You know, you don't want to have to contend with that yourself. And nearby, again, I can't stress. That is what? That is a total of 9 squares. It's a lot.
Yeah,
Great old one. Amazing.
yep.
Right? I don't know. We're in water.
If we could run two, we would.
Right. All right. So now we're on the tough part of our deck. So we've got 3 dodge rolls.
I think we could cut all dodge rolls. It's kind of gimmicky.
I don't know, dude. Like, it plays into Enchantress's text. You can
Well,
animate
yes, but
something off turn to give it, make it a defender. Like, I would. It's like a surprise. It's a surprise attack. So say you animate your 3 cost aura, and they're like, "Oh, sweet, I'm gonna swing at this 3 cost aura," and then you use dodge roll to not only move it into a more harmful position or out of harm's way, you animate your 5 cost aura and defend with that instead, and just remove their threat. It's like a 2 for. It's like a 3 for 1. I know it feels really good, but it does need a specific setup to be good.
yeah. That's kind of my issue because I don't know how likely that specific setup is going to be.
How about one, Will?
I'll
How
take one.
how
I'll
about
take
one
one.
dodge roll? I feel like it's gonna happen, and it's gonna be the coolest damn thing that happens during the game. And you're gonna be like, "Man, I can't believe you dodge rolled. I can't believe you dodge rolled me." Browse is it? Yes. Blink at 3, I think, is an absolute yes.
Yep, yep.
I
We just
think
need to cut 8 more.
I think Fade at 2. Fade at 2 is fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think the stealth is legitimate. We want that.
Oh, also, it's stealth is weird because it says in every single text it mentions a minion with stealth, but then the question is, will it work with an enchantment with stealth?
Well, let's look at Fade really quick. Let's well actually no, I looked at the FAQ. They have nothing on this. This is clearly not a
I
card that
know.
is played. So in my opinion, given allied minion stealth, it is a minion for up until your next turn. So it will remain stealth at least during your opponent's turn. And then if even if it unstealthed, it's back to being an aura. Do you get what I'm saying? So it
Yeah.
still has the evasiveness it would have had. I think it's just a good way to keep the thing alive.
Yeah, my thing is that I'd love it if we could stealth an aura and keep the aura stealthed, and
Right.
then our opponents just can't remove it with even aura removal.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You're probably right
yeah,
with Browse.
fade to 2 is fine.
You're probably right with Browse. Brent. Fade at 2 is fine. I think that if you guys know, again, the specifics, because this is not mentioned here, but if an animated minion becomes an aura again, does it still retain stealth? And I think we just need to look up stealth in maybe the rule book, and it'll say like,
I did. It doesn't mention it at all. It has it mentions stealth 4 times in the rulebook, and it's 2 times in the same paragraph copied over. And I'll just quickly read it. So, keyword ability stealth. This minion cannot be targeted by opponent's spells and abilities, and it can't be attacked. Enemy units cannot intercept or defend against this minion. Stealth is lost forever after the minion uses a non-basic activated ability, deals damage, or attacks. So the thing is, it in everything it says minion, 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 minion.
okay,
But the issue is, it was a minion when it gets it. Can only minions have stealth?
I would say if the same logic applies to a silenced thunderstorm, right? That it retains the knowledge of its counters, that it should maybe retain the stealth.
I think stealth is a minion only keyword.
All right, so I think it could just fall off of stealth, and that's
Yeah.
fine. Again, it's
It's
not.
not going to be relevant. It's probably we're going to probably stealth something and have it like attack the next turn anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
Mhm. Geyser. This turn, flood target site, and each enemy, and give each minion their airborne. Draw a card.
I like it.
So what's cool
It's
is that Geyser works really well in tandem with Drown. So you could flood the site, give the minions airborne, and just drown one.
Yeah. It's also a or it's a water cantrip, which is really good. Also going to browse, discussing that, I think we probably could cut browse because hitting affinity for water, very easy. Hitting affinity for air, bit harder.
Honestly, on that note, I almost want to get rid of the mix for air at this point. I might even just
Yeah.
add 2 mixes of aqua. Is that crazy?
I think we can live without the mixes of aqua right now, and I'm gonna quickly use the bathroom.
Oh, wait, you want to cut all the mixes of aqua?
I think we can cut the mixes for air, but I think we can keep
Okay,
the one mix for aqua.
okay. I will see you in a second.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Okay. So I'm gonna make these final cuts, I think, without Will. We've got 5 cards to cut. Font of Life is cute. I still kind of want to retain one. I think Fire Harpoon. It's another way to cantrip in water and just trigger our Enchantress, which I do think is kind of important for us. But I'm not sure that Fire Harpoon is an absolute necessity. So I will go ahead and sideboard it for now. We have to cut 4 more cards with this. Teleport is also fine, but I don't think it's as good as our other cantrip utilities and or mobility utilities. Riptide. Target water side pulls an above ground unit it's adjacent to. So I think that Riptide is still crucial for the deck, but I still think that Riptide is crucial for the deck and at 3. Marine Voyage is something that I think we can cut. I'm not sure we need that much mobility outside of the blinks. Drown is really good. I think we could probably set Drown to 2. Thoughts on that, Will?
Uh,
Oh,
yeah, I
Forked.
think we can reduce it a tiny bit.
Yeah, thank you, Forked. If you research this, thank you so much. Honestly, it's I'm on the Discord. It's just that I don't want to disrupt the brewing session to check with like the judges that I'm aware of. But yeah, I know some judges from this other Discord, and they're very useful for helping resolve these sort of things. But I don't want to disrupt the live stream. But thank you, Forked, for looking it up. Okay, so Will, we've got one more card to cut. I have Font of Life at 1, Stormy Seas at 2. These are the last ones we haven't discussed.
Um,
Stormy Seas is 4 mana, and it is a way to.
it nukes a site. It pretty much.
I don't know that that's good enough.
I think it's good enough because if you compare it to Drown, it's Drown but on steroids. So it's one more mana to do what Drown does, but for everything on the site.
Hmm. I think we stick with the 1 Font of Life minimally. Do we need this many auras?
Honestly, I think we could probably cut the Aqua mix because I think we're gonna be hitting. No, I never mind. I like keeping one Aqua mix.
It just lets us double down because I feel like it will let us in the early stages cast spells, combo, animate, attack. Like it's going to help us chain events, and then later we'll have enough mana to whatever. But
It'll hopefully get us to the Great Old One really quickly as well. So I like it.
all right, so it does retain it has a memory. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I imagined, right? Like, because it's still Thunderstorm, it's still the card, you're still tracking the turns it's in play. I think it would just have the memory of that. But, if it stays under the silence, though, I think it would be fine, right? I don't know. At any rate, we'll get to that when we get to that. We need to cut one more card, Will. What do you want it to be?
Um,
Because you're playtesting this one.
yeah.
And it's a weird matchup. I will be playing Battle Mage, so this will be awkward.
I think that we could probably cut.
Got a lot of auras there.
I like the amount of auras that we have, though.
You
Auras are
do.
fine.
Okay.
We want a lot of auras. I think we can cut another Fade if I'm being honest, because we're not always going to have a minion to target with it.
I 100% agree. Yeah, Fade is good, but I feel like it's something that you want to do mid to late game. All right, so we need to add our sites. Let's go ahead and do this. The first thing I want to start with is not Aqueduct. It's going to be a lighthouse. A lighthouse. We're going to add 3 lighthouses. We're going to add the observatories. They're both elite. Let me just go ahead and check our split here. It's 80-20, Will. Okay, so 4 parts water, 1 part air. Okay, so on that note, we don't really want to add that many air sites.
So we don't split the site devotion 80-20. I know the spells themselves are 80-20, but the site devotion I think we split like closer to 60-40.
I agree with that. I think that we definitely want one of each tower, at least one of each tower, so that we can get the ramp off of that. I want to go 2 observatories. This is just one of the best sites in the game. Look at the top, your next 3 spells, put them back in any order, especially with rivers. I do want to make sure that our body of water is still very consistent. So I'll put the spring river, summer river, winter river. I'm sorry. Where's the last river? Where is the last river? There you go. Autumn River. Okay. So right now we're at 12 sites, and we can look at some of the utility sites in these colors as well. Island Leviathan. If you have 8 water threshold, may transform into a monster, place a flooded rubble underneath it. Do you like this? When we some of our spells make things water affinity. So what do you think about Island Leviathan?
I did not hear the general speech to it, but that's the high affinity activation thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I do kind of like it as a potential surprise bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, having one might be fine. One,
Well, it is a okay.
yeah. I know it's an elite and not a unique, but having like one is probably good because worst case scenario we can play it near our opponent's stuff and then try to flip it later.
Right. So there was a question about submerged minions. It seems like we're relying on force submerge for removal. This is true. When it comes to spellcasters, it's not like we have anything that could go underwater and cast spells to remove those things. So really, it's going to be them unsubmerging and us beating them. Because so far as dealing with like, it's the same thing with like a burrowed target. There are only so many great ways to remove them, and generally speaking, that's with more frequency, you'll see decks that are based on land sites and you'll see decks based on water sites. But so far as dealing with other submerged minions, it will be beating them with our own submerged minions and or beating them with our auras when they surface to hit us, because they will have to deal damage to us at some point. If they have their own utilities that are kind of hampering us, like the unlane angler, we will have to play around that. But I don't know. Yeah, Will, any thoughts on that? I mean, we could add like damaging effects if we wanted to, but again, if they're submerged, we would need a spellcaster that was underwater to deal with them. So, like, that's finding too many
Yeah.
solutions for a singular problem.
I think that just kind of keeping things submerged is fine because I believe submerged kills the exact same way that putting something
Well,
underneath
they're stating though,
site.
if you're dealing with other submerged minions,
Oh, well, if we're dealing with other submerged minions,
like other
which
water deck.
we usually aren't going to be dealing with other submerged minions, but in the case that we are, what submerged minions are really a problem? Because
I
it's
guess the
like
shark.
it's the shark and then the angler. But the thing is, the angler is lightly annoying, but a lot of our units are also going to be auras, which we can kind of work around the angler with that. And then with the shark, we're gonna have five fives, or we're gonna have five stats. So
If we
I think we're
move and the
fine.
shark moves to hit us, then we'll just nuke our aura and we'll nuke the shark. And if we have the great old one out, I guess we just move the great old one and the shark dies.
Yeah,
Right?
that's pretty much it. Yeah,
Land eating an aura on your opponent's flooded sites can give you an affinity. Yeah, Brent, you're absolutely right. That's what I think. So, well, I guess what I'm saying, Brent, is do you think that it's worth putting two of the Island Leviathan inns instead? Because one of our sub strategies is, in fact, land deed opposing sites. So if we land deed flooded sites, he's absolutely right, Will. We can fast track. It's almost like doing what's it called? The deep one or whatever in Magic, like when you cheese out dark depths. We can sort of like dark depths with our Island Leviathan here.
that is pretty useful. Uh,
It's an
I
eight.
like
It's
that.
like an eight beater. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
pretty good. I don't
it's
think that the
it's an
thing it's
eight beater that's not really getting killed by anything because once again, it's kill spells are the only way to get rid of it. Burrow doesn't do anything. Submerge doesn't do anything. Actually,
well,
no,
it
submerge can do
would
something.
because this guy does not have submerged. It's literally
Yeah.
just like it's literally just an island creature. That's still fine. I really don't care.
As long
Like,
as our opponent isn't in water, we're fine,
yeah.
and we don't care. So
I
I
am
like
curious though,
we can do two.
when it transforms, is it unsummoning sick?
I
Assuming it
believe
was in
so because
play.
it's been in play.
Yeah. It's not summoning sick since it was already under your control. Yeah. Okay. So it's still the same thing. Does Island Leviathan continue to provide threshold after it's transformed into a monster? Yes. That was kind of important to me. If the flooded rubble gets replaced with a site, is the new site also flooded? No. Is this ability optional? Obviously. Okay, cool. So sites. Let's continue adding to our site log here. So Will, right now we've got out of 20, three. I'm just gonna count things that aren't lighthouse. Right now we have 5 air sites. That is 1/4 of the site deck. That's probably all we need. we should probably just look at water. Am I correct?
I like having like roughly 40% of the sites be air, just because we only
Well,
need to get to 2 devotion for pretty much all of our stuff.
that was not including lighthouse. Lighthouse is a three of. So technically we have 8 things that provide water threshold or air threshold. Excuse me. Is that
Alrighty.
that's
Uh,
that's like 40% right there.
yeah, because
Right.
let's see, 40% of 20 would be 10. So 10 in total is like 40%. Not 10, sorry, what
No.
am I? Bad math, bad
Eight,
math. 4,
eight,
8, 8,
8
8,
out of
8,
20.
8, 8.
So we're
Yeah,
right there. Um, we are there. I think we're good with that. Let's just go ahead and look at the rest of the water site utilities. So we've got the ones that scry. Those are fun. Let's look at this. Once on your turn, you may flood an adjacent site this turn. Floodplain. That seems good. Am I wrong?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I like
that's
that.
constant. And we can have 2 of those, I believe, if not more. Maelstrom. At the start of your turn, you may pull each minion in this body of water 1 step. Whoa!
That is very good.
Yes, it's a unique. It's a unique. Yes, yes, that we want that.
Yeah.
Um,
So we
floodplain is
can we can
exceptional.
flood yeah, we can flood something and then pull the thing towards it.
Do you value scry more than you value floodplain? Once on your turn, you may flood an adjacent site this turn. What I'm trying to do is figure out the battle of just ordinary rivers to utility lands in water. And I don't think I want any non-affinity lands in this deck. I don't think we can suffer it with the amount of
Right.
affinity necessary. We'll go back to floodplain later, I think.
I
River
like floodplain. It is good.
Undertow. Staying within this body of water, move target unit 1 step on Genesis.
Hold
Staying within
on.
this body of water, move target unit 1 step. That includes your avatar.
Yeah. Uh,
I like
I
it.
mean, if we wanted, we can use that to move the angler or something to a better position, or move one of our big guys right onto our enemy avatar or next to it so that we can punch immediately.
Yeah,
So, I like it.
me too. Me too. We have Tadpole Pool, Genesis, Triple Threshold. Summon 3 Submerged Frog tokens here. This is a cute combo with the mnemonic manuscript or whatever. You can give the scripts to the frogs underwater and just have them read the text to draw cards. We're not doing that, and that's sort of a pseudo strategy that I don't think we need to deploy. It's also a unique one of very awkward.
Yep, yep.
All right, so Will, we've got 2 exceptional lands that we can add more of, the Undertow and the Floodplain. Do you find that those are more valuable than rivers for scry?
Uh,
Flooding an
so for
adjacent
the
site,
river.
flooding an adjacent site, or staying within this body of water, move target unit 1 step. I honestly think that that could be a 3 of. Like, that feels powerful to me. That kind of mobility. I,
Yeah.
I want that as a 3 of, but do you think that we need more than 1 floodplain? Once per turn, you may flood an adjacent site this turn. That's
I
pretty.
think we might be fine with that floodplain.
Just because we're running every single flood effect, despite this card
Yeah.
being good, we are running every single flood effect. I think Wave Shaper would love this. Not here. All right, and I think that we can pad out the rest of our deck then with just 2 more of the rivers. Do you have a preference? Winter River. I like Winter River. I'll do another
Yeah.
Winter River. Do you want Autumn, Summer, or Autumn, Summer, or Spring River? Will.
Uh, let's do summer. So we got one winter, one summer.
Okay.
Opposites. Let's go.
All right, so guys, that is it for the deck. That isn't to say that this is where the deck will remain. I think we're going to play test it a little bit, see how it shakes out. We'll try to fit in 1 or 2 games pending the quality of the stream. Again, last time we did Geomancer, I have to say, the YouTube chat itself, like, it did not like what we were doing. However, I am super excited to play test this deck. I will be on Battle Mage, which is going to be a very bad matchup for me. I think Will have a fun time though. Will, the link to the deck is over in the description for the stream, so if you just want to copy and paste that, you can. And guys, if you want to check out all of Dr. Jiggle's Magic Motion, you can do so by clicking that same link. But again, this is just a water variant of Enchantress. It isn't the only way you can take this deck, and I would love to hear how you guys have taken Enchantress. Last time I was at my local game store, I was playing with someone that let me borrow their deck, and it was Air Fire, and it was actually really cool. But because of that experience, I really wanted to try this deck out. I think Dodge Roll, again, is going to be the coolest card for this deck. But very excited to playtest against it. Let's move over to Tabletop Simulator. So guys, if you haven't seen this before, this is how we will be playing our games today. All right, roll to see who goes first.
Yep, yep.
I'm just gonna do this instead. I got a 2.
I
All
got
right,
17.
so you want to go first or last, Will?
I will go first.
Okay, I'm gonna shuffle up.
Oh yeah, I should also do that. Hold on. I drew 3 of the exact same card. Think I didn't shuffle up.
Yeah, probably need to shuffle.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
come on.
all right. Is this a good starting hand for the Battle Mage? Against Will, I don't think so. I'm gonna put this back. I'll put this back. And I will put this back. And was that you or me?
I think that was me.
But let me know how the stream quality looks, guys. I'm very curious to see if it's better than last time. I'm anxious for that. But yeah, dude, this is gonna be a really fun matchup. I know I'm gonna get trounced. I will put one more Atlas back as well.
I have. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
All right,
Um,
this is a much better start for moi. Oh my god, this is way better. All right, Will. Whenever you're ready, sir.
I'm gonna put back these two. And do I put them on the bottom or?
You will flip them and put them on the bottom of your deck. Yes,
Okay.
in any order. So who knows? You might see them again, dude. I think this Enchantress is going to play extremely well against other water decks. Like Brent. I'm very excited to see how this will perform against other water decks. Like genuinely, I do think that the auras we're using are so controlling, though, that it will be difficult for our opponents to like outpace what we're doing or get around the stacks, as you'd call it in Magic. I'm super excited to see this one played out, dude. Whenever you're ready, feel free to establish the domain, sir.
Yep, yep. And to start it off, I'm going to play. Uh, I'm going to. Yeah, hold on. There we go. I'm gonna tap. I'm gonna play Spring River
I need so much more coffee. All right.
and Genesis. I'll look at the top one and then. Oh,
Oh, you could just do like
uh,
search one.
yeah. Hold up. I think. There we go. Okay. If you if you have the UI closed, you can't right click it to get the pop up menu.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. I just found that out. All right. Well,
Well, we're gonna leave the UI up then, which it
yeah,
still
I'm
looks good. It still looks really clean for you
yeah, it
guys.
looks fine. I will keep that card there.
It's good. Okay.
And with that, it is oh sorry, no, yeah, I'm not supposed to draw. Correct. Okay, yeah, so you're go.
All right. You sure?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I will draw. Did you? You didn't draw to start, right? Okay. Good.
I did not. I did not. That's why I was just asking because I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not supposed to.
I will draw a spell. I will play a site as well. We're gonna go ahead, tap here. I will play Observatory. Will, just in case if you don't know, you can tap U to put the card under in this game. So
Okay.
that's useful for submerging and burrowing. I'm going to just look at the top 3 cards of my spell book, place them back in any order. Yeah. That's not useful against you. This is okay. This is okay, and this is okay. And I hope I have a... Do I have a shuffle effect in hand? I do not. Okay. We're going to need that later. I think this is the order in which we'll place them back. I don't know if you guys can see that. All right. Yeah, you can roughly make that out. Okay. let's go ahead and place an onyx core on my avatar. You do have to manually do this, but I will up my threshold and up my mana production. I have 1 mana coming off the onyx core. I have nothing to do with that mana. I'll let it dissolve and pass to you.
Alrighty. I will go to my turn, and I will draw, and I'll get one from my spell book. Alright, and now I'm going to play. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm so used to cockatrice double tapping. I'm going to play Lighthouse.
Okay.
Now I got 2, and then,
I'm going to be tracking your air threshold this game and see if Browse is an accessible spell.
yeah.
Browse is one of the
Um,
best. It's one of the best spells in the game.
yeah. It is. One man, like, it's a one mana, what is it?
Dig
Treasure
through
Cruise.
time?
Yeah,
Yeah, or
dig
treasure
through time.
cruise?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dig through time. You're
Yeah.
right. Treasure Cruise is the draw 3.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then, do I want to do this thing?
I don't know, man.
I'll blink, just
Okay.
teleporting to the same location, and then draw a card.
You don't want to move forward?
No, I'd rather stay the fuck away from your battle mage.
Okay. That's fair.
And I will draw, and it's yeah, it's draw in general. I'll take a land. I'll take
Okay.
a land,
Fair, fair.
and that will be my turn.
All right. I will take my turn. I will also take a site this go around. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and tap my battle mage. I will place a humble village right here. There's a genesis effect. I will elect to do the genesis. Let me just grab some foot soldier tokens. Ramp. I'll put a foot soldier right there. So this reduces me to 2 mana this turn. I will go ahead and play my own blink to move forward.
Yep, yep.
And I will cantrip. I will draw a spell. I already know it's on top, so I just want to get this out of the way. And I think that's it for turn. So I'll go down to 0 and pass with that.
Alrighty. I will go to my turn, and I'll draw a spell.
So all I can say, I'm going to let you guys know my strategy with Will live. I need to rush him. Having made this deck over the last hour and a half with Will, I know it's only going to get worse if I wait. So
Uh,
we need to go quickly here.
I'm gonna play a Winter River here, and I'll look at the top of my spell.
And yeah, so this is a water site. This is and this is. So your body of water's in a nice right angle right now.
Indeed. And with that, I'm gonna leave that card on top. Sure.
Okay.
And with this, I'm gonna pay 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay 3. I'm going to silence right here.
Affected sites lose all non-basic abilities. Who? Okay.
Well, it's minions occupying affected
Right.
sites. Yeah.
So this is above and below.
Yep.
All right. Well, you know,
You're go.
Root Spider's cool, but
Yeah.
wait. I think I'm gonna wait on Root Spider. I'm gonna have to kill that thing. If you elect to animate it, you don't have to. Shit. I will draw a. I need the topmost spell later. I'm gonna draw a spell though. I need to dig through my spell book, and the observatory lent me the knowledge to just go through my freaking spell book. I will, before I do anything else, I'll tap and attack you here for 1.
Yep, yep. I will take my 1.
In case of some of you watching, I know you guys are either Magic fans or One Piece fans. In this game, you can attack the opposing avatar by attacking their sites, right? Their domain. His sites are oriented towards him. My sites are oriented towards me. Any attack on a site is considered life loss. So, you know, effects that trigger on damage won't trigger. But you can also do damage to the opposing avatar as well, just so you guys know. All right, so let's go ahead and tap here. I will play... because of how auras work, I need to move my shit this way. Let's do another village here. I'll do a rustic village. And there's a Genesis effect. I will elect to not take the Genesis effect. I will play a flame sword into my avatar's hands.
Yep, yep.
All right, and I will yield my turn.
Alrighty. I will go to my turn, and I'm going to draw a location.
I'm noticing a little bit of lag here with the game. Do let me know if you're seeing anything. Again, we can switch the resolution of this game. What's nice is when you do these highlights, you can still make that out on the stream. So I feel good with that.
And I'm going to play a Gothic tower. So I'm going to get my 1, and I'm going to get one more affinity for air. So with my 5 for the turn, uh, I'm going to play Atlantean Fate right here.
So soon. So
Yeah,
soon.
yeah.
All right. Okay. Yes.
So that will indeed happen, and then it submerges your token and submerges your equipment
Mm-hmm.
attached to your avatar.
Yeah, they are water sites and provide water threshold. Affected non-ordinary sites are flooded. They are water sites, only provide water threshold, and lose all other abilities. Submerge all minions and artifacts atop sites. So this will get submerged and go away. Both these artifacts are going to get submerged on the site. So I'll put
Yep,
them
yep.
under. And my battle mage is just standing pretty.
Yes, he is, and
You could,
also
or
tapped to play that tower, and
right.
then
Did you want to use Enchantress's ability?
no, I would like to keep my silence if I if I can. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, with that, you are cool.
Okay. Affected sites lose all abilities.
It's only ordinary sites though, I believe. Non-ordinary, I mean. So you,
Non-ordinary. Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
it's uh affected non-ordinary sites are flooded. They're water sites, and only provide water threshold. So the top part does not matter. It's just the bottom part for the Genesis.
Yeah, no, the affected non-ordinary sites. If I play a site into this though, which like right here, if it's non-ordinary, it will lose its ability.
Yeah.
Oh, affected non-ordinary sites are flooded. This is ordinary and this is ordinary. So these are burrowed right now.
Okay.
Duly noted. So let's use your blue markers as flood tokens, just so I know. Right now,
Okay.
nothing is flooded though. So yeah, that
Yeah.
actually worked out really well in my favor. Okay, sorry, I will take turn though. Outside of the fact that I lost a total mana cap for
Oh,
the
actually,
tournament.
lighthouse is flooded, so it only produces blue. So I'm off of wind threshold.
Oh, did you do your threshold reduction?
I did not. I'll do that
Okay.
right now. There we go.
Playing your last village on square 12 is interesting. Playing it on your back line would be ideal because you're giving the Enchantress more sites to animate her auras to on the play. I'm fine with it, genuinely. I think that I need to be aggressing where my sites are placed so that I can start summoning minions closer to the Enchantress at this point. My whole strategy is going to be to attack Will as quickly as possible. So the further I have to build away, which in this case, because of Atlantean Fate, I will have to build further away if you're looking at my hand. Um, you know, que sera. I think it's just the case. But yeah, I liked where I placed it. I'm going to take my turn, though. Let's
Yep.
go draw. Let's draw a site. Hmm. Thought you can only submerge water sites. Oh, wow, you're so right. Because non-ordinary sites. This was ordinary, my guy. They're
Oh,
so
okay.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're so right. Um,
So you got your Mox and your sword. Dang.
well, you know what? Atlantean Fate, not as good as we thought. Well,
So
non-ordinary sites are
that means
flooding.
that means you have your token as well. You still have your
The,
Genesis
no,
guy.
no, no,
Oh,
the
no, you
token
put
was
it to
there.
mine. Yeah. Never
Token was
mind.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good to know. Thank you for that. Our threshold is still the same though. It should be 1, 2, 3 for Earth because of the core, and
Yep, yep.
then 1 for air because of the observatory, and 1 additional mana per turn. Thank you. So I took my draw. It's going to be a site. Whew, Atlantean Fate. Nearly got me, my guy. Thank you for that correction, though, audience. Let's see here.
Oh, this is why water sucks.
Mm-hmm. No, no, no. I mean, that's such a weird. That
It's the
is,
fact that you had two basic lands up front that stopped me, or two ordinary lands up front that stopped me.
yeah, yeah. I don't play against water too often, so this is an interesting matchup. There's things I want
Even
to do.
even knowing that though, I probably still would have done it because I wanted to at least alleviate a little bit of pressure.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Man, I kind of just want to hit you, Will.
Do it, you coward.
You know what? Maybe I will. Screw it. We're going to cast Gigantism.
Alrighty. Yeah, so that is a lot of power this turn.
We're going to move forward.
Hitting me for 10.
I'll hit you for 10.
I will take 10.
And that is it. I'll pass my turn.
Alrighty. Well, I'm going to draw a spell this turn.
I want coffee so bad.
And I hope you liked being able to play cards this game, Patrick, because I am about to probably lock you out of this game. Um,
Okay.
I'm going to tap Enchantress, and I'm going to play. Oh, hold up. I'm gonna play, and I want to make sure that I do this properly. Yeah, this doesn't exactly matter. Yeah, I'm going to undertow. I'll say here. And I'm gonna stop the Genesis for now. Then I'm gonna use a
We
four
did
out of five.
Brent. The amount of damage was accurate.
Yeah,
Because Battle Mage is
four
3
four plus
plus
six.
1 plus 6. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going
The and
to.
the sorry, and the splash damage doesn't hit the site. If that's,
Yeah,
I don't think that's what you're
I'm gonna
suggesting.
land deed. I'm gonna animate my Atlantean Fate, and then I'm gonna equip land deed to Atlantean Fate,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm going to. Is there a good way to keep them separate but also pick them up at the same time? I'm just gonna keep it here.
We
We know
could
it's on
well
Atlantean Fate.
you could do this and like stack them, and I know that land deed is on your Atlantean Fate for now.
Yeah. And then I'm going to move Atlantean Fate here, and I'm going to attack your. I'm going to attack your observatory.
Okay, one, two, three,
Actually, I
four,
don't
five.
believe I can because it is not your land.
Oh, that is awkward.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm still going to move there.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so you control the site you're standing on.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Phew.
And with that, I will pass turn to you.
My bad. Gigantism is it stops at 6. Yeah, sorry, I should have highlighted that for you guys. Gigantism is 4 for 6. And we had the threshold on it. So,
Yeah.
all right, you kind of lock me out, Will. Don't forget I'm generating 1 mana here, so I will take turn, but I am generating
Yep.
1 off of our core.
Yep. Yep.
I will draw a spell.
And you only have the one affinity for Earth.
Right. Yeah. I am not going to change these numbers because this is temporary. As soon as
Yeah.
you drop it, then you will need to reanimate it. Like I'm locked out temporarily. You will need to keep drawing spells to animate that and pick that up, but you're never going to damage me with it. So I feel okay with this clock. I think you need to put other minions down to start damaging me, though. We can
Yep.
definitely run another game after this one. But fuck it. You want to play that game, dude? Let's do this. Let's see here. So I don't control any sites. In this instance, I normally have to play sites adjacent my other sites. So I'm not even sure.
Yeah, you just can't.
No,
You
when
just
you
can't.
it's like when you I think you just play them adjacent your avatar at this point. Correct me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong, guys. If the fate is a minion, it's banished. It can't exist in the void. Oh, that's interesting. Um, he's suggesting that it has to stay here.
Oh, because large minions have to.
Occupy 4 spaces.
Okay. All so I'm fine with that if we want to do it like that. So you can have the one observatory, and I'll attack your battle mage since he only has a
Right.
4 power right now.
You can play a site closest to under you, adjacent to site you control. Right. So
Yeah. So
in this
if
instance, we can still build off of the observatory. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, land deed interaction with auras. I've never had to contend with this strategy, but it's still working.
That is good to know because if I did not place the land here, that means that my enchantment would have died
Mm-hmm,
when I
mm-hmm.
tried to reanimate or tried to animate it.
All right, so you're there.
Yep, so it's a 5/5 right there. And you have two to play with because you have the one land.
Yeah. I mean, I could just hit you and kill you with the splash damage. Is that to each other? Nope. Haha. I can't hurt you quite as bad as you can hurt me.
So your battle mage is here unless you wanted to move battle mage.
No, we were thinking about sorry.
You moved there to punch me with the giant.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking about where the fuck I go next. So if I just go to your avatar, I suppose I'm safe. And I'm not going to build anything there. I'll tell you that. This is a very slow clock. I think because I have you in 3 turns, I might as well just move forward. But we can also play out some spells. It's not a bad idea. The land deed is what's doing it. I think for this turn, if I do this, generate
Also, I believe the way that the whole setup with Enchantress and Landdeed works is I think I do get the mana from your lands just because I get the mana at the start of the turn and it becomes not a creature at the start of the turn. Maybe I don't know. That's an interesting thing to find out.
yeah,
Because
if
it
if
the
if
question
you
is how does Enchantress timing work with a yeah until your next turn. So it depends on if it falls off at the start of my turn or at the end of your turn.
well, the way Enchantress reads is it's animated until your next turn. So at the start of your turn, those triggers will resolve and it would stop being animated, at which point it would drop the land deed.
Yeah. So it's
However, because this is occupying 4 spaces, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a card in my hand I want to use. You're looking at it now. Will this function the way I imagine it will? Let me know. So we're just going to do the thing.
If you're thinking of a thing that does damage to everything on like surrounding sites, I believe it only does damage to the units once.
I'll put a simple village here. And
Just
the
a humble farmer.
Genesis effect, I'm going to ignore. What I want to do is bury the land deed. We're going to bury the land deed here, if I'm not mistaken. I can sort of just elect where this gets buried. It needs to be buried on a land site, and you occupy 2 land sites.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to bury the land deed, and I presume I can elect where the land deed goes if there's 2 sites. So I want to put it
I'll
under here.
assume so for now.
Right.
We'll assume that you are correct on
Correct
that.
me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong. I feel like on the play would definitely know. So if you do know how that functions, please let me know. And again, I've never played with a giant character, so duly noted on the adjacent to void. That logic's so much.
Yeah.
If it's on a water site, then you can't bury it on anything. If the thing is on a water site, then so it's on water and land is the question. So it's on these 2 land sites and these 2 water sites. So bury just doesn't work. So neither bury nor drown would work in this instance, is what you're saying? Let me know, because obviously this changes my whole play. But obviously this is this is what I would want to do. If not, I'm just going to move forward and beat Will. That's really the only difference.
I've got my screen set up now. I have the
Okay.
chat on. Okay. So
No,
it
no,
can't be
no.
buried.
Yeah, yeah. This. Okay, that's cool.
Okay. So you can change around what you're going to do then.
No, 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 no. It works. It works.
Oh, he's saying that it can be buried under there. Okay, because I
Right.
thought you were saying that it can't be. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he was saying that to the chat or in the chat there. Yeah,
Wait, it's buried. I got it. It's right there.
yeah.
All right. That's it for my turn.
Alrighty. I will go to my turn then, and I will untap.
Wait,
Can I untap?
doesn't not wait? That's a double negative. Doesn't not work when it's on a water and land site.
Okay, so it does not work. Okay, well, I'm just gonna quickly
Oh Jesus.
and hold on. I'm
Doesn't
gonna.
not work. What are you trying to do to me here?
He corrected to just doesn't. Right after.
Okay. That's I don't know, that doesn't really logic for me. I'm sorry. That doesn't make any
Oh,
sense.
also, you couldn't have put the land directly there anyways because you don't control that basic.
It would have to be here, yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Well, I mean, if you wanted, you could put it here. I don't see any possible unforeseen circumstances if you put it there.
now I want to put it there to shut you off, but the land deed play is really clutch. I think that sorry on my phone. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. If you occupy both a water and a land site, then neither effects that apply to one or the other is applicable. That
Yeah,
does
that kind of makes sense because
does it though, Will?
you can't bury on a flooded site and you
Yeah.
can't submerge on a land site and you're occupying both.
Sure. All's fair, I suppose. Let's
But yeah,
see here.
you can punch me for like 5 plus whatever with what you got.
Right. I mean, there's no sense in playing a site. We might as well race you, I guess, at this point. This is such a weird predicament because there's still another thing I could do, but I don't really like that thing. Sure, we'll move forward. Punch you for 4.
All right,
Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
going.
Actually, we're attacking the site here, Will.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, but the thing is, this does splash damage, so it strikes. So I hit the site. No, I need to hit you. Bear has +1 power. It strikes splash full damage to each other enemy at struck unit's location. All right,
Yeah,
correct
so
me
you have
there.
to strike the unit. You have to strike a unit, it sounds like.
All right, let me know. Uh, if the giant minion is on a water site and a land site, then it can't be buried or drowned. Okay, cool. And does strike does one strike a site?
So it's
No. Okay, so I think we're just gonna still hit your site. It's fine.
okay.
I'll
I
do
will take that 4.
I'll do 4. Yeah, yeah. All right, that's it.
Alrighty. And so for the other people as well, how does land deed work with Enchantress? Do I get the mana from the things that I'm temporarily occupying, or does the deed
So
fall off before mana is generated?
that I can rulebook really quick because I think that triggers happen after you gain mana. It's like just start of the turn order, like the how
Yeah,
the phases work.
it's not gonna be horribly relevant, but if I get 2 more mana, I'm happy with 2 more mana.
Let me just look it up really quick. Will we're challenging a lot of the rules here.
Yeah.
Start phase. Trigger abilities that happen at the start of turn. Step 1.
Okay.
So
When does mana production happen?
so this
It
is
would
not
fall
a
off. Yeah.
right. Untap all of your cards in the realm. All of your sites generate their mana. Is step 2.
Okay. So that would mean that I untap, or I lose my deed, untap, then generate mana.
And
So,
then at the end of the start phase, you'll draw a site or a spellbook, atlas or spellbook.
yep, yep. And, nah, and this will fall off here, and it's probably going to be coming back in the very near future. Um, so I'm going to quickly look and think about what I can do. So I got 5 to play with. Uh, so I have to do it like that, and I have to do it like that. So the question is, how lucky am I feeling? Um, so this can either be really good or really bad, but this will be useful for me. Hmm. Sure, I'll draw a site. probably gonna bite me, but I'll yeah, okay. It is a Summer River, and I'm gonna play it, and I'll play it here.
Okay.
I'll play it here just to keep my square up for my sights.
I was gonna say. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm going to search of the top one, see if I want to do something with this. That is a nice thing, but I'm gonna put that to the bottom. So I'm gonna, oop, come on. Yep. And then, oh, hold up. There we go. All right. And sadly, I can't do deed stuff yet. Also, I should have put deed here. I don't know why I put it here.
If
Because I
you put
can,
it there, I can pick it up. So,
but I can also move and pick it up as the thing.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
no, I played my land. Never mind. Yeah, I did the correct thing. I thought all of this before, and then I stopped thinking for a second.
No, you're good.
Um,
You're good.
all right, and with that,
God,
yeah, I'm
I wish gigantism wasn't unique. I could
yeah,
use
I'm
another
gonna
one right now.
pass turn there. Yeah, there's not a lot I could do. I took a risk and it bit me. Oh well.
I know what you wanted to do though. Damn. All right. The scry is definitely helpful though in these situations for your own sake. So untap, I'll generate mana. I am generating 1, 2, 3, 4 again. And we've got affinity rolling. We're going to draw a spell from our spell book here. I think it's at that point where we just need to start hitting you. Cute. Cute. Not necessarily what we need in this instance, but cute. Nothing is animated. Okay. We're going to use the mana generated off of our core to play another core.
Yep, yep.
So we're net positive on mana, but I will go up here and I will go up here. Okay.
Are you net positive or are you net neutral? Because you're paying one to gain one.
Net neutral. I'm sorry. So far as like the where
Yeah.
if
Yep.
you look
Yep.
down, if you look down here, we're the same on our mana, but we're not on our cap.
Oh,
Is
sorry.
what I
Yeah,
was
it's
trying to say.
the numbers flipped around is what's throwing me off. Yeah.
Let's see here. We want to play more cards. We can't bury anything. I think we just attack your site again. Sure. I will attack the site.
I will take my 4.
I will play a root spider
That is a root spider.
just under there. And I've got 1 mana left and nothing to do, so I'll pass.
Alrighty. I will untap, and I'm gonna draw a spell. Yeah, I'm gonna draw a spell. That is a nice spell. I'm going to pay 3 for silence right here, and I'm
Mm,
going to animate my Atlantean Fate, and I'm going to equip Land Deed to Atlantean Fate.
mm-hmm,
Honestly, that's probably the better way to do like the equipment attachment, just for simplicity's sake.
mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to move. Yeah, because I don't need to play land. I don't need to draw land. I'm gonna move Enchantress here,
Okay.
and I will tap Enchantress, and that will be my turn.
This sucker's animated. Damn it.
Yeah, that sucker's animated.
Okay. All right. I will take my turn. I am down 2 mana, and I've got 2 threshold air. Draw a card here.
And you got the 1 threshold Earth.
I will move here and attack the site.
Uh, and I'm going to
The site.
intercept with my aura.
Okay. Okay.
So gonna intercept with Atlantean Fate.
Sure. Sure. We'll defend. You can defend there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll take damage. One, two, three, four, five.
Yep, yep.
Ooh, I should not have. I needed to be near you though, was what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Because the way my next turn is going to shake out, I really want to be near you for this. This is down to what health at this point?
It's down to 1 because you dealt 4 to it.
Oh, you know what?
Actually,
This is my sword. The strikes at this area. So you will be at death's door.
yeah, okay. Yep, yep.
Let's go ahead and common sense here. Search my library for an ordinary card. I'll reveal that.
Yep, yep.
Just something to damage you, I think. Ooh, that ain't gonna work. All right. You are in air, so you do have mobility. I do think the best thing we can do, though, is this, because it will automatically deal the damage. Let me see. Flaming Sword says, and its strikes deal full damage. Yeah, okay. Um, the way this works, I don't have sufficient mana. If you were to sink one of my cores, I would be out of mana. Okay, we just have to do... Oh, this sucks so much, dude. Let's do a grapple shot
Alrighty.
to hand. That's it.
Alright, going to my turn. So we
Oh,
we
well,
know
actually,
that
you're right. I can move this up if I want to. Sorry. Let's just move this up. But
you
you,
can do what you want, yeah.
yeah. Um, it just needs to
So
be within range to start hitting things. Sometimes we could
yeah,
have had it. Could
uh
have had it. No, I mean, I just wanted to burrow it so it was safe, more or less, but it can still come out. The spider happened last turn. You're right. I
see that
honestly forgot it was there.
I was really hoping you were gonna forget how the game works and move the spider forward onto the humble village so that the silence would have killed the spider.
No, 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 no. I'll pass on that.
Okay, I'm going to draw uh let's see, spell or land. It'll be a spell. Yeah, it'll be a spell. With a horrible time to draw that. Um, that sucks. Okay, I am going to. Wow, that's horrible. Actually, I'm gonna move my Enchantress here and pick up the deed. Oh no, don't move the whole pile. Just move the deed. Just move the deed.
Move the Enchantress. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Nope, there we go. All right, and good for you. And that is all I can do this turn, unfortunately.
Okay. No spells.
No spells.
All right. I will untap. You are on a site that you already control. I do have my cores and my full amount of mana. I think everything is set where it is accurately. I will draw. I did never shuffled after my tutor there, so let me just shuffle really quick and I'll draw a
Yeah,
spell here.
you're good.
Wow, interesting spell. All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna do the thing. I'm gonna move over here and attack you.
Okay, well, I'm gonna cast dodge roll.
If it
I'll make you
attacked,
happy with the one use of dodge roll. So I'll
oh,
move Enchantress here, animate the Atlantean Fate, and intercept with Atlantean Fate.
hold up. Um, I don't think that this is animated by the time. So the way
Okay,
this works, so yeah,
yeah,
you can
it's not gonna matter. I'm moving for a turn and dying next turn,
right,
but
but
I'm just gonna do the
you can
thing.
still animate this though.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, there's not a point in animating it though. It would just make it susceptible to removal. So I'm not
Uh,
gonna animate it.
well, no. Let me see here. So whenever you cast a spell, so this is fully resolved. This thing is now you can animate it, but yeah, but the
Yeah.
attack has already failed. So yeah, okay, yeah, all right.
Uh, yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna I'll choose to animate it. It doesn't really matter because I guess it still allows me to intercept. So yeah, yeah. I'll animate it.
Well, here's my thing then. If you animate it and I grapple shot you, the card you saw me go for,
Yeah,
it shoots a projectile. These two things are in the range of the projectile. I think I elect which one I want to hit, so we'll do that.
yeah. It's still gonna do the exact same
Yeah.
thing, and it's gonna hit me, kill me. And even if I intercepted, I still would have died because of the blazing sword.
Yeah, my concern was if you had like your drown, you could have just buried one of these things. Because you would drown, animate this, pick up the land deed, and then I would be off mana for grapple shot. That's the only reason
So
I didn't want to
by the
grab.
way, two thunderstorm. That's why I was stuck on.
Oh,
And I only have
damn.
a one wind. So the issue was that I flooded my wind site. Could have played it better and should have played it better because I should have played my wind further in the back and then played
Well, let's reset. Let's reset. Because
yeah
that was the first crack. I honestly think it's good. It's doing what it wants to do.
yeah
Here, I'll move this over here for you.
because it's the reason it lost was primarily because I misplayed more so than like the deck being
Bad.
non-functional.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Come on.
Thanks, audience, for keeping up with us and keeping us honest. It's interesting to see how. Is it G? Yeah, there you go. Interesting to see how all these cards are interacting with one another. Again, these are some complex situations I've not necessarily dealt with in a typical basis. You could just do this, Will, and like hit G. That way
Okay,
you can.
yeah, I was just
Yeah.
gonna. Oh, come on.
Okay. Shuffle. Let me just reset these.
We're just doing a little bit of ASMR.
I'll reset you and me. High roll or low roll?
High roll.
Okay.
I got a 12.
I got a
You got a
one.
1.
That was barely a roll.
Yeah, you can do like an actual like physical roll, like having it move
Oh,
across the table.
6. Okay.
Okay. I
GG.
will take the play again. Yeah.
GG. All right. One more
GG
round. Well,
indeed.
actually, honestly, I can play as long as you want to play, Will.
I'm probably only going to play one more round.
Okay. Because my wife is getting home soonish, and I'm sure she wants to hang out after a long week. All right. Yeah, this is a weird match. I kind of want to play my Pathfinder, but I'm committed. Let's go. Ew. Ew. Uh, Fate Atlantis is still good, but you had the combo though, man.
Yeah. Yeah. The Landy definitely did what it should have done. It was shutting you out.
We'll put that at the bottom. Put this at the bottom.
But yeah, what I was hoping I could do is try to play a land on the other side of your lands while I controlled them, and then move my enchantment up forward.
Mm-hmm.
That was going to be my end game goal to try to do, but couldn't get that happening. I just got punched down a little too hard, a little too fast.
Yeah, I'm just mulliganing for the gigantism again. I put 2 sites back and I put 3 spells back. Going
I,
deep.
yeah, I think I'm fine with this setup for myself. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good with this.
this is mildly better, I suppose. All right, Will,
All
take it
right.
away. Take it away,
Uh,
good sir.
I'm going to start off with Summer River, and I will look at my top one, and that could be quite useful later. Um, I'm gonna elect to keep that, because let's see, I want to make sure it is exactly as I think it is. Yeah, okay, so that's not how I think it is. I'll move this to the bottom then. Yeah, I'll move that to the bottom. Come on. Oh yeah, I need to close it first. Nah, 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 nah.
Brent was saying to move cards to the bottom, left and right click and move it under.
Oh,
It's
alrighty.
fine. I
Good,
mean,
good to know for later.
I'm using a trackpad. I don't know if I can do that on a trackpad.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that is my turn. I pass it to you. Also, for some reason, I'm at -1 air. Um,
Okay. I
oh,
will take turn. I will
come
draw a
on. Why is it only letting me do it down? Why can't I do
You
it
need
up?
to touch the top of it.
It's, I was trying to. Oh, it's higher up than I thought it was.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so there's an empty gap in between it. Got it.
Let's do. Sure. Let's do observatory.
Yep,
See my
yep.
next three draws here. Huh. Okay. Good spells. Good spells. I like this one. I like this one too. I like all these things. I like all these things. Sure. Let's go for that. I will yield my turn.
Alrighty, I will go to my turn. Untap, and then I will draw. I'll draw one land. And this is, yep. I'm going to, I'll tap Enchantress and I'll play Isle Leviathan up here.
Oh, okay.
And I will pass turn to you, Patrick.
Seems good. On tap. I will draw a spell. I will tap here. Hmm. I'll play a simple village. Genesis, I'll make a foot soldier. I'll pass.
Alright. And I will go to my turn. Untap, and I'll draw a spell. Yep, yep. I'm going to, I'll play Gothic Tower here, getting my temporary one, and then I will play Blood here.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I will pass turn to you.
Mm. Okay. On tap, I will draw a sight this go around. Would you look at that? God. All right. I had to see it, I guess. Sure, let's move here and attack this for one.
Yep, yep, and I can't intercept with the Enchantress, right?
No, it needs to be untapped. And intercept, it would be a defend. Intercept is if it crosses your path.
Got it.
And then you
Okay.
could like intercept here. Yeah.
Okay. So I will take my one, because I'm still trying to learn the basics of the game, so.
No, you're good, man. That being flooded, that is kind of annoying. Yeah, let's just do this. We'll tap here. I will play a Sadly Lone Tower. I generate an additional mana this turn. I should have four. I'll put a Flaming Sword on the boy, and I will pass.
Yep, yep. Alrighty. Um, I will go to my turn, and I will draw a,
What will you draw, Will? What will you draw?
I'll draw a land. And
Yeah, I
then,
can see why the people like to play fire for Enchantress
oh,
because the
there we
one
go.
aura that's 4 mana and 1 affinity only takes up one site, the wildfire one. So it's a
Yeah,
little bit easier to animate and like start dealing damage with. Sorry, just wanted to give that little
yeah.
note on the deck building. But it's your go.
Um, so I'm going to, I could eat another one. I'll move and attack your soldier with Enchantress.
Seems good.
And then I'm going to, I will blink Enchantress back.
Draw a card.
Yep, yep. And I will draw a spell.
Okay.
And with that, I have nothing else. You are good.
Okay, I will take turn. For my turn, I will draw. Hmm. I know what my next two cards are. I feel like I can go for the next one. Sure. Let's go ahead and tap here. I'll play another Lone Tower. And I will attach. I know it's weird, folks. I'll attach another Flaming Sword. I'll pass.
Yep, yep. Uh, and let's see. I have that. I have that. I will go to my turn. And untap, I will draw a Spellerino. And I'm gonna go tap Underflow, no Genesis, and then I will pay one for core that I'm gonna put on Enchantress, and then uh
Did you
with
want to
that,
animate this?
uh yeah, I'll animate it, and I'll have it attack the lone tower for 4. I
Okay.
nearly forgot the entire thing that this deck does. And with that, I will pass it off to you.
Okay. So it is
Yes,
tapped. All right, I'll take turn. Draw a card. Hmm. That's useful, not necessarily in this matchup, but it is useful. All right, Will. I will use 3. I'll play Screaming Skull.
yep,
Avatar.
yep,
I will move here. Strike your Flood.
yep, yep, that'll happen.
I'll untap as it dies. I'll take 4. And I will draw a card. This time we are going to draw from our spell book. I need to get past the 3 cards I've observed already. We have 1 mana left. Let's see here. Hmm. This can be bad. This can be very bad. Part of me just wants to move back. Part of me just wants to move back. This feels like the wrong move.
Hmm.
I can hit your site and I can deal, what, 5 damage to you? It's cute. I would rather not give you the options to start drowning all my equipment. You'll have 5 mana next turn.
Yep. If I play my land, maybe I want to move towards you. Maybe I'm an aggro enchantress.
Yeah, this is an interesting predicament because knowing how the deck operates, I really don't want you to flood me and get my shit. But is it really bad if I just hit you here for 5? Probably. Play something there, animate it. You've got
Also,
enough
I
mana to
may have
start chaining
6 next
things.
turn, not just 5, because I have the core.
No, I already bumped you up. You're at 5.
Correct, but
So
I'm
it's
saying
4,
that I
4,
may
4.
have 6 next
Oh,
turn if I
that's
play a land.
yeah, that's fine.
'Cause I made the comment of only if I play a land, but yeah. No, I'm gonna have 5.
Fine. I'll move back. I'll move back.
All right.
You go.
Alrighty. I will untap. I will draw a spell. Yes, one Spellerino. All right. And I'm going to tap, play a lighthouse,
Mm-hmm.
and I will blink my Enchantress over here and draw a
Mm-hmm.
card.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep, yep. And with that, I'm gonna Riptide, and I'm just gonna choose to have, yeah, I'll choose to just move the Enchantress back. It's not really gonna affect anything.
Draw again.
Yep, yep. And then with my 0 or with my 2 remaining, I'm going to pass turn there. You
Mm.
go.
All right. On tap, I will draw. I'll draw from my spell book this go around. Hmm. 5 is the magic number for Battle Mage, in case you're wondering, audience. I will tap here. I'll play a Watchtower over here.
Yep, yep.
Generate some mana.
Yep, yep. You're up to 6.
I will Common Sense now. Search my deck for an ordinary.
Yep, yep. I see why you didn't like that I flooded the basic.
Yeah. You have a couple ways to submerge my artifacts, and I don't want to get in there and start doing anything until I'm really ready to get in there and start doing things. So this is tough. This choice is tough. I think what we'll do is grab my own blink.
Alrighty.
I will shuffle, 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 shuffle. Then hands. I'll play a root spider atop the site. Is that too cute? Hmm. Well, I know you're not running projectiles. Sure. Root spider will go. Root spider will go over here. That is 5
Yep.
mana. I will pass my turn.
Alrighty. I will go to my turn, and before that, just take a look to refresh myself on if there's anything necessary. There is not. So I will draw, or I will untap, and then I'll draw a land. That is a nice card. I will. Yeah, I'll tap. I'll play a lighthouse here. Have both my lighthouses on the same side,
Why not?
and then
It's a lot of mana.
let's. Yeah, it is. Shame there's not a ton to do with it. Um, also, from my core over there.
Oh, I gave you the wrong affinity.
No, you didn't. I have 3
You do.
air.
Oh.
I have 3
Oh,
air.
oh no, I gave you mana is what I did. I gave you the
Yeah.
I raised the cap. Okay.
Yep, yep, yep. And I'm going to use 3 to play silence here, and then I'll pass turn.
Okay.
You are smart to not burrow your spider.
Yeah. We're just gonna I'll draw a card, but I'm gonna hit that thing.
Yep, I will take 3.
But I'll draw a
It is 3, right? Oh,
Two,
it's two.
just
My
two.
bad.
He's kind of a Lobi creature. I know what you're saying. Why are you drawing sights at this point, Pat? That's a good question. I probably didn't need to draw one, but that's okay. Let's see here. Hmm. Silence, you say? Sure. I'll put my humble village. Right about there.
Alrighty.
I like that. I can make you work for it if I put it here. In either scenario, I don't mind. But at least here, the soldier can start attacking you, potentially. I will go ahead and... We've got 5 mana. Well, common sense.
Yep, yep.
Search my deck. I'm going to
Best tutor in the
find...
game. Best tutor in the game.
It is the best tutor in the game. I'll find a grapple shot.
Yep, yep.
So that was 1 mana for the Genesis, 1 mana for the Common Sense, and 1 mana for a Lightning Bolt on your Enchantress. So 3 damage.
Yep, yep.
I like how the approach changed for both of you compared to the first game. Yeah, I'm being far more apprehensive. I sat there and built the deck with Will, so you know I should have wised up. With that, I'm good though. I'll pass.
Alrighty. I am going to
But
untap.
gigantism does things to a man, Jacob. It makes you think strange things.
Untap, and I'm going to draw.
Land of the Giants right there, man. You got so
I'm
many
gonna draw
spaces.
a spell.
Is it a good one?
That's a pretty good one. So I'm going to... Yeah, I'm gonna pay 3. I'm gonna Mariner's Curse right here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I am going to animate Silence.
Okay.
I'm gonna have Silence move and attack the spider. And with that...
Mariner's Curse. Whenever a minion enters an affected water site, submerge it. Okay.
And with that, I'm going to... Yeah, I'm gonna tap Enchantress and draw a water site.
Well, you don't know if it's a water site.
Sorry, I'm gonna draw a site. I don't know why I said water.
This guy. This
Yeah,
guy. You stacked your
yeah,
deck.
you are correct.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, statistically, it is going to be a water site,
Yeah,
but
probably. Sure.
yeah,
But you don't
uh,
know.
you are correct. You are 100% right on that one. But your
That's
go.
good. Okay. So this is a 3-drop, right? Okay. End turn. I've got as much mana as I'm ever going to want this game. I will draw a card. Wow. Guys.
Was it ever a card?
It was a card. Okay. My little footies are just going to chill over there. We're
Are you
looking
sure you
for...
don't want to occur a Mariner's Curse?
I'm good. I'm not gonna give you a repeatable curse. I'll let you work for that. I might even move them just to be a dick here.
Out of spite.
Well, I mean, It make you work for it a little bit, right? Oh, actually, this is I think this is on a site. Is that accurate, or does it take up 4 spaces?
I
No.
believe it takes up 4.
Wait, when a minion enters affected water site, can we look that up? I don't know if it like it's on a.
If if it would be affected water site, it would be here. It doesn't
Yeah, yeah.
really.
Because the way it reads, it makes it sound like it's a singular site. Do you get what I'm saying? But I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't change where you want it.
Yeah, it's still gonna affect that corner, but
Let me go to the card. I'm sorry.
it doesn't say. Oh no, when it enters an affected water site, so it only affects water sites. So if you walked onto like my watchtower over here by the Mariner's Curse, you wouldn't be affected. So by the fact that it says N, it is implying that there's multiple sites affected by it.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I've seen people play it on singular sites before, but I'm just sure that was wrong. This is when I just got into the game, by the way.
Yeah,
Okay, so sorry. We want maximum damage. So how are we gonna do this, dude? Maximum pain. I'm gonna get hurt. I'm gonna get so hurt doing this. Oh, this is so interesting. I'm trying to look at Flame Sword. So it says has 1 power and its strike splash deals to each enemy at struck unit's location. So you occupy 4 spaces.
yeah.
I assume that if I hit you here, it would only strike this location.
I am not 100% sure either because I could totally understand either way.
Right. So guys, can someone logic me giant, four
Actually,
spaces, flame
I can
sword
quickly look up giant on the rules because
equals
hopefully it's just as simple as
location?
Control F.
Yeah, yeah.
It's either it's large, not giant. I think.
Because obviously I want to do all the splash damage I can do. Do you know what I'm saying? Um,
Why? Okay, there we go. Not letting me type that for a second.
right. And I'll look up flame sword while I'm at it actually, because this does dictate a little bit of my turn.
Um, Hello? Why are the rules having trouble loading?
Splash damage. Is the splash damage a strike? No. Yeah, you fight at a specific location. Even though, so my thing is that Flaming
Okay.
Sword says it strikes, and it strikes splash full damage to each other enemy at struck unit's location. It does occupy 4 spaces, but the location I strike it is the relevant
It's
part.
wherever you move to attack. Got it.
Right. I'm just trying to see if there is anything for giant, but I don't think that's going to be a thing. We'll just assume
Swear it
that.
said that. Did I close that?
Okay. All right. Well, enough
All
said.
right.
Enough said.
Grapple me, I dare you.
No. No, no, no. You know what? I might actually grapple you, Will. All right, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to shoot a grapple shot.
Yep, yep.
It's going to land me here. Um, I'm going to elect not to strike the unit there. Actually, no, I won't. I won't strike you.
Okay.
I will, however, move here. If I move here and strike you, strike this.
Yeah, it'll hit everything.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So I'll strike the silence in this region.
Well, if you strike either my Enchantress or the Silence, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I do want to get the kill though with Battle Mage off the swing. So I'll strike this site and both swords splash full damage. So if this resolves, I'm going to hit this for 5 damage and then both swords will splash 10 damage on
Uh,
your Enchantress.
yeah. 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 So yeah, so you're gonna hit me for 10 damage, and since I'm tapped, I can't block or anything, correct?
Correct. Unless you have the dodge
Okay.
roll.
I do not have the dodge roll, so
Okay.
yeah, I'll take the 10.
So I'll take 3 from the silence, splash of 5, splash of 5 here. I will untap and draw a card for Screaming Skull. I will draw here. You have 3 life. Okay.
Yep.
I will tap here and hit your site. Let me see where I want to go actually. How can I conclude this? I'm trying to put me in the safest zone. This is untapped. I guess we just go hit you here. We'll just hit your site. Bring
Yep,
you to
and
death's
I'm
door.
at death's door.
I don't think there's any reason to cast anything else. That's it. We'll we'll
Alrighty.
we'll leave the footies right there. Pass the turn.
Alright, I'm going to untap.
If a
I'm
unit
going
has
to.
two flaming swords, do they both splash damage? Yes, have fun dual wielding. But my question is, I have 3 of these in my deck. Can I Zorro 3 sword style?
Ugh.
Font of Life?
Ju- just top decked it.
Woo! Thank God. Dude, I was
So
waiting for maximum damage. I'm like, I'm going to
yeah,
double splash.
yeah, we're removing Font of Life and Dodge Roll from this deck because they
No,
don't do
dodge
anything.
roll would have helped though. Dodge roll would have helped here for sure.
Dodge Roll would not have
You
like
could have
it
done
could
this.
have
You
helped,
could have
but the
done
thing is,
this, and then got out of way of the splash entirely. Because I would have just hit. I would have just hit this site, and then it would.
well, the
This
thing
would
is,
have died.
I could have just moved because you attacked my thing here, and I could have just moved it here, and then that would have completely nullified your
Yeah,
attack,
yeah, yeah.
including splash damage.
Dodge roll,
But the
dude. I
thing is,
think dodge roll is key.
I don't think Dodge Roll is good, but we're definitely taking out Font of Life at minimum.
Jacob, I hit the. I killed the silence with the. Yeah, I got the draw because I attacked his silence with my battle mage, and then it did 2 hits of splash damage to the avatar on the same site. Is
Um,
how we did it.
so I'm going to start with using Riptide to move, and this is unit. Yeah, I'm gonna move your battle mage here, I think. Actually, is it here or do I move? Yeah, I move the battle mage there. I do move the battle mage there.
You want to move it back?
Yeah, I'm moving them back. And then I'm going to draw a spell. And then with my
I
remaining
I do really
5,
like Riptide for this deck.
I'm going to Atlantean Fate. So I'm gonna drown all of your equipment. Or submerge all of them, I guess. I suppose. And then finally, I'm going to move the Enchantress here.
Sounds good.
And all. Hmm.
Well, at any point, yeah. Did you want to
Yeah,
animate this? Technically,
Mariner's Curse. Is it
you just.
correct?
I mean, you would need to move it here, then here to like. Well, it's not even true. I would need to enter its site. So yeah.
Um. All. Yeah. All man up. Mariner's Curse.
Man up,
Yeah.
Mariner's Curse.
Yeah.
Well, you
His
want it as a
his
defender.
body. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because if there's a any kind of beam or shot or anything like that, I can block it. The issue is potential splash or not potential splash damage because that's going to happen either way. So is there anything negative that could happen? Not really. Yeah, I'm going to man it up.
yeah. Okay.
Um, actually, is it correct to? Yeah, no, it's correct to man it up. Yep, it's a 3/3, or it's a 3 stat.
So my question with Mariner's Curse, because it still has that effect, if I were to teleport into it, that would be considered entering, right?
Duh, 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 duh.
I assume so. I mean, it's well,
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
teleport
It's whatever it enters.
is teleport disappear reappear and
Well,
considered
it's
entering?
what and enter is if you land on an affected site. So I'd say yes.
Okay. And the other thing I'm checking there is actually on the FAQ. Let me just read it really quick. Oh no, that doesn't help me at all. Okay, ready?
Yep, I'm dead
Oh,
this turn, but
maybe. I'll draw a spell. Teleport is enter. Thank you.
yeah.
Okay,
The
so
thing is, you're any movement thing away from killing me.
yeah, which we have. We'll
Yeah.
blink here.
Yep, yep.
No, no, no. But you could still check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, I can still block, which I'm gonna have to do.
All right, so I blink and I move over here. I draw a card,
Yep, yep.
and I will bloopity bloop attack you for
I
1.
will block with Mariner's Curse.
I'll take 3. And there's two ways I can finish this, folks. I've got a grapple shot, but I also have another blink. Oh, we're gonna blink the
Yeah.
foot soldiers and swing the footies.
Yep. Yep. And I am dead.
So the only issue with that is if Will had the dodge roll, because then doing this is just cheeky and he can get around it. Whereas if I used grapple shot, he could not get around it. Grapple shot.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so
Ugh. Font
Will.
of Life feels horrible. Dodge roll feels kind of mid.
Okay, so Font of Life only because I did 15 damage to you in one go. Let me just say. I don't know how common that is, but I was literally biding my time. I'm like, all the only thing that could have really put me off doing that much damage is if you flooded one of my sites, which I don't know if you have ways to flood outside of nearby. That's why I kept here, because I'm like, I'm not going to let you have an advantage on flooding me. When you blinked over here and moved back over here, it did free me up to grapple shot and
I
hit
know
you
the
because
issue was I should have done it the other way around, where I was able to move here in the end just by having it pull towards my Summer River and then teleport there afterwards or blink there afterwards. That was the correct thing to do, but
yes,
I did it in the wrong order.
yeah, staying there was definitely the cleanest option because ultimately was, did you see me common sense the grapple hook, right? Because I could have gone
Yeah,
here, hit your thing that was here. If you had dodge roll, you could have moved it. But that does put me off of when he untaps per skull, going and attacking you that same turn. The reason I wanted 6 mana though on turn is because I had all my grapple shots. Literally, my hand was just full of grapple shots. Because after I common sense the grapple shot, Will, I drew another one, and then I somehow had all three in hand at that point. But I common sense the grapple shots and the blinks just to make sure I could get a clean kill on you. Dude, that
yeah.
was, I don't know. Again, like literally the start of my game was just two flaming swords. When I did the observatory, my starting hand, which you guys saw, was flaming sword, and then I saw the other flaming sword. I'm like, well, I'm gonna grab that. And then I had two common sense, one in hand and one off the top three. I just put the other common sense as the third card down, and I figured I would play a
And
slow game. Yeah, yeah.
abundance is so abundance feels way more necessary for this deck just to give the fixing so that you can multi-use cantrips so that you can get through your deck faster.
Oh, and well, animate, do more work with your auras, cantrip through your deck. I almost feel like we want to put a shit ton all the Riptides. Like this feels like such a strong card in my opinion for this
Yeah,
specific build, because it will help you move your animated auras. It will replace itself. And again, like you were saying, if Abundance came out earlier or previously, it's a 2 of in the deck, but I still feel like it's really potent. The only issue is there's not really any tutors for auras at this point, so you can't hit the ones you want outside of just pulling them.
yeah. I also almost feel like we could make this a mono water deck because the wind isn't bad, but it it just feels very awkward when you have to flood your own stuff or position in a very weird way to prevent flooding.
Mm-hmm.
But then also the wind stuff doesn't do a ton. Like we have a couple cantrips in the wind part of our deck, but it doesn't feel like we could replace it with other things because we could probably add like maybe another dodge roll for a little bit more protection, but then we can add more abundances and high end stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because if at any point I drew an abundance on that game, I was going to be playing 8 drop things, but didn't
Yeah.
draw the 8 drops, didn't draw the abundance.
I think that the Riptides are integral though for moving units into non-ordinary spots so that when you do the Flood of Atlantis, or you know what I mean? I think
Yeah,
that if we went mono water, this would be way more consistent. And the other game where you had two of those lightning things trapped in your hand, whatever it's called, like that
yeah,
felt that I mean it looked like it felt bad. But that
yeah,
was really more or less because of how you set up your sites less. You would have been able to cast it if you didn't flood one of your lighthouse, right?
yeah.
Um,
But it's even if you looked at this game, the wind did pretty much nothing. Like it let me ramp out with the towers a little
mhm.
bit faster, but I don't need that. I'm fine without that.
Got you. So guys, just like the other videos, anytime we do these, I'll just pick a deck of from my own to play versus the the deck rather that we've just built for playtesting. I wasn't sure which deck I wanted to play until we rolled into it. I felt like Battle Mage would be a bad matchup, but it still worked out okay. And because that's the deck I played, who's asked? You don't have a name, but mystery
Get null.
viewer. Yeah, mystery viewer. No,
Anonymous.
I will go ahead and send you the list for Battle Mage, and you can check that out. I say send you. I can't send it in the live chat, but do check the description now, or just refresh your page. It should be in there, and you can check out my Battle Mage build. I think it's pretty consistent. It's good. I've actually bought all the cards in paper for this. So this is the only deck I've purchased all the cards for in paper. And I'm going to send you guys a revised link to the Magic Motion Enchantress, because this link is kind of goofy looking. There you go. Woo! Okay. Yeah, so anytime we do one of these streams, we're going to build the list and obviously play test it. After we determine what the opponent deck will be, I'll of course always add it for you guys, so don't worry about that. But yeah, final thoughts on Enchantress. I think that I agree. We could probably make this mono water and it would be better. And even though dodge roll felt bad for you, I still feel like
It's fine enough because it is good against like battle mage and stuff like that, and it helps position. So if we're getting out of air, more dodge rolls. But if we're in air, we probably don't need more dodge rolls.
yeah, because right now, and I'll show you guys actually. Here, we'll go back to the viewer. So right now, and we can make these revisions now. I think it'd be nice to leave you guys with the list that we would actively want to play. Is that weird? Do you have time to revise? Or you just
Yeah, we can quickly throw that together because it's
okay.
not hard to kind of change all that out.
Oh, so
Because we
the one
pretty
of
much.
oh sorry.
So do we want to do mono water, or do we want to do
Ooh,
just water, or do we want to do mist?
do you? I mean, do you still want to keep the blinks? Like that's really the only card I think that is kind of integral.
It's blinks are kind of the only thing in here that kind of relevant because like the aura, the thunderstorm doesn't feel relevant at all.
We'll
Um,
let's revise it for you. So we've maxed out on all auras in water, and that leaves us with 11 auras. That is 1/4 of the core deck, a little more than 1/4. Is that good? Is that good enough?
uh,
Because now the deck needs to do
yeah,
more. Well, I
yeah,
mean, it's only 3 less. But I'm thinking with all of the cantrips that you'll be rolling with, I think that we can probably use the sharks now. Just have a bunch of water sites and start manipulating the board to kill things. You know,
yeah,
any
because
minions. Battle Mage, like obviously different story, but I think other decks that opposing decks that had more minions, you could do a lot more too. Um,
and for elites, we can only run 2 elites, right?
correct.
Okay, yeah, so
Exceptional is
we have a
3.
max amount of abundance.
It's weird
Um,
that abundance is elite, by the
yeah,
way.
it would have helped the deck so much if I could find abundance at any kind of given point or time. Uh,
That's why I need to
so
browse, man.
we
Uh,
can probably go mono water though, and then
so
hmm,
mix aqua core, 2 land deeds still. I think the land deeds are crucial. You could have locked
yeah,
me out in certain instances. I think that we up the dodge rolls to 3. Is that fair?
I think we can do like up 1 dodge roll and then do
We're gonna have a lot
some
more
of the other
space in a
draw stuff.
second.
Yeah,
Here.
because we can do the other random draw thing that we decided to not run, but now we can. What is it? Fire harpoons.
But I definitely want us on Riptide 4 of. Is that cool with you? I think this card is so
Yeah,
good.
Riptide is fantastic. It's basically a blink.
But we really want this with Mariner's Curse. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. You want is that the well? Let's look into the cantrips again in a second. Drown it too.
Drown. Yeah, drown felt fine, and then we can put in the uh, what is it? Anua or the Undying?
Well,
Undying.
if it's
Undying
mono,
feels like
yeah.
yeah, Undying feels good because that's like a 5 mana for a 6 usually.
You know, truth be told, man, if you just because you had mana relevant to do this, because you can only animate yourself off turn with like the dodge roll. But if you just played this on top of your avatar, I would have had a tough time getting around this, and she would have done a lot of damage to me. I think
Yeah.
mono water, you have every excuse to play Undyne. Um,
Yep.
and two of.
Yeah,
So,
I'd like two of because a little bit more consistency.
all right. So far as random cantrips are concerned, let's just look at them. Before we do that, though, do you want the font of life?
No, Font of Life did it felt so bad.
I mean, you top decked it. It's a one of, and you top decked it at the worst moment. And I don't know how many other decks can do 15 damage in one turn. I just want to say that.
Well,
So,
the issue is like even if it does heal me for a lot in one game, this deck feels like one turn of stalling doesn't really help that much. I'd rather use my mana to try to build up a counter board or something to slow down, mess with the opponents, wipe out whatever I can wipe out.
mhm,
So
mhm.
I don't know if stalling by just gaining a bunch of life back is a good idea unless I can do that and board wipe at the same time, which theoretically I could, but it, it does not feel great. Font of Life does not feel like a good card in the deck.
Two Stormy Seas is still fine.
Yeah, Stormy Seas. If I drew that at any point, I would have been happy.
Let me go
Is
ahead and
that
just look at water cards that say draw on them just to give us all the cantrips. I think we have all of them. The only thing we're missing is we're at one geyser. This turn, flood target site and give each minion their airborne, draw a card. I think that geyser with your effects that care about sites being water
yeah,
is good. I think the airborne, it's only this turn, so it's not a detriment to give your opposing minions airborne if you're gonna drown them anyways. Um, I like this. It is also good. What you could do is if you flood a site where you have an animated aura that's taking up 4 spaces, you could give that aura airborne and it could go around the shark. Does that make
yeah.
sense? So I think that
Also,
that's kind of a
Geyser's a little bit more maneuverability because I can Geyser to have my avatar
avatar.
move diagonally to avoid Death's Door a little bit better.
Two geysers.
Yeah, like having multiple Geysers is good. I think we can have as many as we can put in there.
Yeah, Jacob says Enchantress feels like tempo. I agree. I think that it's not hard aggro, but you're gonna do consistent damage every single turn with your auras. All right, fire harpoons. And
We don't need that if we're gonna put in Max Geyser, Max Riptide.
oh, you want 3 geysers and 4 riptides? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because their mobility. If we're dropping Blink, then it's good.
So Will, we have 3 spots in the deck left. I have taken out the all of the air cards. We need to look at the sites in a second, but do we just put 3 giant sharks in? Is that
Um,
weird? Does that fuck up our? Hmm.
I think maybe put in. I was gonna say maybe one Kraken, like another Kraken, but not. We don't need
So
another
if
Kraken.
we could do another, oh no, we can't do another angler. It's elite. But we have the self same simulacrum that we can put another one in. We have the kraken, which we can put another one in, and we can put 3 undines, and that would be our 3 cards. So max out undine, max out kraken, max out simulacrum. Or would you rather us give ourselves another utility?
Uh, hmm.
I know. The shark just feels really good. We can look at the
Yeah,
water minions.
the shark does feel nice because also I want to take another look at the shark just to make sure that does exactly as I think it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had the shark that game, it probably would have 1v1 your battle mage and potentially just killed you.
Right. The first game in particular, because I capped at 4 damage.
Yeah.
I would never be able
Also,
to move and kill your shark at the same time.
also, no duh. The shark is really good with all these random movement things that we have that force people to constantly move their stuff around. So the
Oh,
shark can just be used as a burn effect.
do you want 3 of those?
Yeah, I think that three of the sharks is fine.
Okay, so far as magics and water spells are concerned, there's only a few things we're missing. When a unit kills a cursed albatross, kill that unit's other allied minions that's nearby. I think that's kind of meh. I like the illusionist. I like we still have Captain Baldassar in there. The toad is kind of cute. Genesis swallows another target minion here. He can carry it disabled in his belly until he leaves the realm. Kind of cute. Neat mobility. Uh, do you want the Fenvale Muse? Whenever you cast a spell, you may trigger the genesis of a nearby river, so you could just scry. It's kind of cute.
Uh, is that a land or is that a separate
That
card?
is a 1-drop creature. It's early gameplay.
Maybe just because we could keep reusing that.
That's not bad.
Um,
Especially if you're just casting your aura, right?
yeah. Uh, maybe. I think that I'm fine just doing 3 shark and then that be that. And then for lands, I think the one that floods nearby lands is a pretty good call. And then yeah. And we can just do rivers for the rest of it.
Sorry. Okay. And is there any other water creatures you would want though? Actually, do you like Marine Voyage at all? This turn, your units can move between any sites in a chosen body of water as if they were adjacent.
That's units, not minions.
So that's both your avatar and your minions. So you can,
Yeah.
so it's like extreme mobility.
Yeah,
No,
it's a teleport.
virtually.
Yeah. Um, maybe. Like we could probably do one of that. I don't think it's too necessary though.
Mm-mm. Okay, I mean we're at the cap now. I'm just trying to weigh our options, but we are at 40 cards at this point, and it's one Captain Baldassar, one self same simulacrum. Two of the, do we like this self same simulacrum? Do you want this at all, or would you rather?
I think it's still fine because it wasn't good against your deck because you don't really run any minions, but it's good against other decks and it's good if you get any of the big things out. I
Mhm.
just never hit abundance and never hit my big things.
Okay, yeah. I gotta say this deck is very weighty though. Like it's got a lot of, it takes a lot of mana to start playing the game.
Yeah, but it is in theory kind of fine with it because it has ways of messing with people's boards
Yeah.
to try to keep them away from the avatar
Well,
and potentially keep them away from sites.
truth be told, like you really can't start playing your game until the board has a lot of sites on it, anyways, right? With the auras that take up 4 spaces, so
Yeah,
it's not so bad. Okay, all right. And so far as sites are concerned, we just do this really quick. With the sites, I will just remove. I'll just remove the 3 lighthouses. I'll sideboard it though, just so that people know that this was a split deck at one time, and you can sort of adjust those to your liking. I won't add the towers though; those are fairly obvious. Okay, so we've got some water site utilities that we're not using that we actively could be using, like floodplain. I know we
yeah, yeah,
talked about this earlier. Do you want 3 floodplains? Once per turn, you may flood an adjacent site this
yeah,
turn. I think we just
yeah.
do the 3. And right now we have 15 sites. There are other utility lands, like minions occupying nearby sites can't submerge or surface iceberg. This is a double-edged sword, but it's not so bad. Mm,
I don't think that we need that
I
because
feel.
also if they can't submerge your surface, that means that you can't submerge their stuff to kill it.
I think you're right about just adding rivers. Yeah,
Yeah, like having a good amount of rivers is fine. And let's see, Maelstrom is one of
sadly,
um
very much sadly. Yeah, before I pad out the
yeah.
rest of this with just ordinary rivers, is there any other utility that you would want?
Hmm.
Well, we can, you know what? We can honestly look into non affinity lands if we're just going monocolor, right?
Yeah, because we can flood them later, so
Do you want
theoretically,
crossroads? Look at the next 4 sites, put 3 in the bottom of your atlas.
I
Is there a
don't think I don't think we care too much about rigging our site deck at any point in time from
not
here because
desperate
it's
for
just
that? No.
whatever we draw we're happy with.
Oh, you know what is cool though? Bottomless
Hmm.
pit. If we flood this and move things towards it, whenever a non airborne minion enters the site, kill it. You could actually set this up.
Yeah,
It's like
that's
another Mariner's Curse, right?
yeah. The thing is, if you flood sites a lot of the time, it also just makes it into a water source, and I don't know if that nullifies all the effects on it. I don't think
Yeah.
that does.
Oh, but
Um,
this would suck if you or your auras happen to move into it.
yeah, but you can control if your auras move pretty much ever,
Yeah.
so you're pretty fine with it.
So you do want like 1 or 2?
I think one might be fine, but I don't think it's too necessary because we already have enough kill effects that
Mm-hmm.
we shouldn't need it.
Do you like Mudflow? At the start of your turn, surface or unburrow each minion occupying target nearby site. This is a good way to get around the spiders, the root spiders.
We already killed the root spiders very easily. We just flood the land.
Okay. It's a good way to or surface one of your own creatures, though. But I don't know how many we're actually.
We have two that we kind of care about
Yeah.
on surfacing, and that's it, I think.
All right. I guess the rest should just be. Yeah, the rest can just be our rivers. And we'll
Yep.
do one more summer, one more winter.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a completely water deck. It is mid range. And I think that this is probably the more appropriate route to go if you wanted to build it specifically this way. But we won't play test it today. We will hold that for another day. At any rate, guys, I'm so glad to see that everything went off without issues, at least from what I could tell from YouTube over here. Thanks for joining us on this live stream. We're going to be doing a lot more of these well into the future. I'm excited to brew for a ton of these avatars and take them a bunch of different routes. And I would love to see how you've taken Enchantress yourself. Again, I've seen fire and air, and I've even seen three-way splits with how people construct. But I'm interested to see like what people feel is the right quantity of auras and the right colors to be in. But yeah, Will, any thoughts before we close this one out?
Uh, Nothing in particular, no. Enjoyed playing the deck. It felt like Battle Mage was a kind of decent counter to this deck because this deck
Oh,
prefers to play slower. Battle Mage prefers to play really freaking quick.
yeah,
So
yeah.
wasn't something I could do.
I didn't think I was going to do more damage than the 10 damage turn in our first game. But then when I looked into the double splash, I'm like, oh, this is more. This is
Yeah.
more damage. Oh, that was so fun, dude. But yeah, hang tight, guys, for more sorcery here on the channel. Of course, Magic and One Piece. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, and I'll see you on the next one. Also, be sure to like. Leave this with a like. It helps. Helps so much. Come on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Double like, double like. Nah, no double like. Ah, yeah. That was fun, dude.
Indeed, indeed.
I enjoy playing Battle Mage so much, man. But the Enchantress